qu'il a créé. Et puis la Suède contre la COVID. Un jour cité en exemple, l'autre jour en contre-exemple. Notre collaborateur sur place fait le point. Ici Maxime Gauthier. Bonjour. Montréal va ressembler un peu plus à Montréal à partir d'aujourd'hui. Des centaines de commerces non essentiels qui avaient été contraints de fermer leurs portes en mars dernier rouvrent finalement. Comme la COVID-19 a frappé plus Montréal, les commerçants ont dû attendre 3 semaines de plus que les autres dans le reste du Québec avant de redémarrer. Mais ça y est, ce matin, on joint Fanny Bussière-Macnicol qui est au centre-ville de Montréal, rue Sainte-Catherine. Fanny, les commerçants sont prêts, j'imagine. Là, on se prépare depuis longtemps.
Oui, voilà. Et l'idée, c'est vraiment de s'adapter pour offrir une expérience agréable pour les clients des magasins et les piétons dans le centre-ville aussi. Donc, il y a des mesures, Maxime, qui ont été mises en place et qui vont être mises en place dans les prochains jours pour rassurer les clients. Les faits que magasiner, ça peut être sécuritaire encore, même à Montréal. On écoute Émile Roux, directeur général de Destination Centre-ville.
Depuis plusieurs jours, plusieurs semaines même, on se prépare pour cette réouverture, que ce soit l'installation de plexiglas, de gel hydroalcoolique, des masques, etc. Et de notre côté, il a fallu aussi qu'on s'assure de sécuriser les espaces publics. À partir de cette semaine, on va installer du mobilier urbain convivial devant les commerces pour gérer les files d'attente. On veut que l'expérience de magasinage reste positive.
Donc, Fanny, on a pris les mesures, hein, on l'entend, mais la grande question, est-ce que les clients seront au rendez-vous? Est-ce que les commerçants s'attendent à ce qu'ils soient nombreux?
Voilà, et en se basant sur l'expérience qu'on a vécue dans les dernières semaines, dans les autres régions du Québec, dans les autres provinces aussi, oui, on s'attend à une reprise lente, progressive au niveau des commerces de détail. On s'attend à moins de clients, mais attention, le point positif, c'est que ceux qui se déplacent sont là pour acheter, pas pour flâner. Je propose d'écouter quelques passants que j'ai rencontrés ce matin nous expliquer qu'est-ce qu'ils pensent de la réouverture des commerçants aujourd'hui.
Oui, avec la masque toujours, à moins d'être essentiel, sinon je vais aller magasiner dans mes magasins, dans mon secteur.
Mon magasin près de chez nous.
Oui, je vais profiter, il y a beaucoup de choses à acheter, c'est sûr.
C'est une bonne chose, parce que l'économie, il faut qu'elle continue à fonctionner.
Et Maxime, à partir de ce matin, puisqu'il y a plus de gens qui retournent travailler, ça veut dire qu'il va y avoir plus de gens dans les stations de métro. À partir de ce matin, il y aura de la distribution de masques pour ceux qui n'en ont pas.
Quelques mois à peine après avoir vendu ses dernières parts dans le ciel du soleil, voilà que Guy Laliberté souhaite racheter l'entreprise qu'il a cofondée en 1984. C'est ce qu'il a confirmé hier soir à l'émission Tout le monde en parle. Le groupe d'investisseurs plutôt ferait partie de l'aventure avec lui. Précision, Xavier Savard-Fournier.
Après avoir évoqué l'idée il y a quelques jours dans une lettre ouverte, voilà que Guy Laliberté plonge. Il veut récupérer le cirque du soleil.
Il y a plusieurs raisons. La première, c'est le cirque m'a tellement donné que voir la situation dans laquelle on est, si je peux aider, on va être là. Puis surtout que depuis la lettre que j'ai envoyée, le nombre de supports que j'ai eu de la communauté cirque, écoute, Franco Dragon, Robert Lepage, on m'a appelé Guy, si tu relances, on va être là avec toi pour aider cette nouvelle génération-là. Il faut être là de remonter.
Si la démarche actuelle de Guy Laliberté est principalement financière, il a dévoilé à l'émission Tout le monde en parle vouloir surtout s'occuper du volet artistique et ramener le feu sacré dans l'entreprise.
On croit, c'est qu'il y a un équilibre financier à trouver. Il faut il y a des comptes du public.
Ouais.
Le public était super important. Puis il faut surtout bâtir la femme qui va driver tout ça.
L'entreprise que souhaite récupérer l'homme d'affaires est par contre bien différente de celle dont il était l'actionnaire principal il y a quelques années. Avec la COVID-19, le Cirque du Soleil a dû mettre à pied 95 % de son effectif et fait face à une dette de 900 millions de dollars. Guy Laliberté n'est pas le seul Québécois à vouloir racheter l'institution. Le géant québécois a aussi manifesté son intérêt pour le cirque et se dit prêt à injecter des centaines de millions de dollars dans le projet. Ici Xavier Savard-Fournier, Radio-Canada, Montréal.
Politique fédérale maintenant, les députés sont de retour à la Chambre des communes aujourd'hui, mais toujours en nombre restreint. Ils doivent débattre de la dernière proposition des libéraux pour la tenue de parlement hybride cet été. Concrètement, il y aurait des députés présents physiquement, d'autres par vidéoconférence. Une expérience qui a déjà été tentée en Grande-Bretagne. Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
Les députés britanniques sont plus entassés sur les banquettes vertes. Sur 650 élus, seulement 50 sont présents aux communes. Les autres peuvent débattre et voter dans le confort de leur foyer. Des élus en chambre, d'autres à distance, c'est un modèle qui intéresse Justin Trudeau.
Permettre à tous les Canadiens de tous les coins du pays de se faire représenter dans un Parlement qui serait probablement un hybride entre des gens en personne et des gens qui seraient là par vidéoconférence.
Mais l'opposition conservatrice n'aime pas l'idée et réclame le retour des débats en personne 5 jours par semaine. Gérard Deltel.
Quand vous avez le ministre devant vous, juste en face de vous, vous regardez le voit dans les yeux, vous lui posez une question très précise, vous sentez exactement ce qu'est la position du gouvernement.
Cependant, l'idée d'un Parlement hybride fait son chemin à Ottawa. Le néo-démocrate Peter Julian est en faveur, en notant que la sécurité informatique est améliorée pour protéger l'intégrité du vote.
On ne peut pas avoir la capacité de quelqu'un d'interférer si les gens sont en train de faire un vote virtuel pour que ce ne soit pas un vote légitime.
Alors que le gouvernement Trudeau vise un Parlement hybride, la Grande-Bretagne, elle, fait marche arrière. Les députés reviendront siéger en personne parce que, selon plusieurs, le modèle virtuel affaiblit l'examen critique des décisions du gouvernement. Ici Christian Noël, Radio-Canada, Ottawa.
En Suède, maintenant, la population commence à protester contre le gouvernement. La méthode choisie pour lutter contre le coronavirus fait de plus en plus de sceptiques. Pas de confinement là-bas, mais le résultat, c'est un taux de mortalité plus élevé que dans les autres pays scandinaves, près de 4000 morts. Comme au Québec, mais avec une population un peu plus élevée en Suède. Reportage, Frédéric.
C'était hier, au centre de Stockholm. Une trentaine de personnes s'étaient regroupées autour d'un cercueil fictif avec des bouquets de fleurs. Puis les noms de ceux qui supportent cette manifestation, mais n'avaient pas pu venir, ont été égrenés. Ils étaient près de 900. Ce n'est pas la première fois que des critiques sont émises contre la politique de non-confinement du gouvernement suédois. Des médecins ont également tiré la sonnette d'alarme. Mais le nombre de morts, qui va dépasser les 4000 ce lundi, a poussé certains à réagir. Comme Auguste.
On proteste contre cette stratégie suédoise qui nous a amené un taux de mortalité record. Il faut être un peu stupide pour faire les choses différemment du reste du monde, en étant persuadé qu'on a raison.
L'autre sujet de polémique en Suède, c'est le sort des personnes âgées en maison de retraite, qui sont souvent mortes sans avoir été hospitalisées. Pour Nelly, qui a perdu son père de cette façon, c'est un véritable scandale.
Il a juste eu de la morphine. Il n'a pas eu le droit de l'oxygène, à une perfusion, à des antibiotiques. Ils auraient dû le tester plus tôt. Si j'avais su, je l'aurais amené moi-même à l'hôpital. Je suis sa voix et celle de beaucoup d'autres personnes âgées. People's Voice.
Le gouvernement a promis une enquête sur les conditions de lutte contre le coronavirus en Suède, mais il maintient pour l'instant sa politique sanitaire.
Pas facile de vivre de son art en temps de pandémie, les artistes le savent, mais certains trouvent tout de même le moyen de continuer. C'est le cas notamment du violoniste du Saguenay qui s'est trouvé un nouveau créneau. Elle offre maintenant des concerts privés de jardin. La Vivine a rencontré.
Écouter un musicien en direct sans la technologie et les écrans est plutôt rare en ce moment. Les rassemblements de nouveau autorisés, il n'en fallait pas plus pour la Saguenayenne Jessie Dubé. Elle a rapidement décidé de proposer des concerts personnalisés et son agenda commence à se remplir de plus en plus.
C'était une dame qui célébrait son anniversaire et qui voulait quelque chose de spécial pour souligner. Donc, je suis allée donner un petit concert dans son jardin devant ses membres de la famille les plus proches. Et puis, ça a été une initiative qui était vraiment très appréciée. Ça a été un super bel après-midi. Même pour moi, étant donné que je n'avais pas fait de concert depuis le 12 mars.
Malgré les restrictions de 10 personnes maximum et les 2 mètres entre chaque famille, le plaisir de se rassembler pour profiter d'une heure de concert était palpable.
Ça me rappelle des souvenirs. Puis, comme on est dans le temps de confinement, mais ça me fait du bien.
Autant pour l'artiste, parce que ça lui permet d'avoir un de mettre un baume sur nos petits bobos.
Si la majorité des concerts ont été annulés, souhaitons qu'à petite échelle, la musique continue de se faire entendre dans les jardins cet été. Ici Flavie Villeneuve, Radio-Canada, Saguenay.
Voilà, c'était le Radio Journal. Restez à l'écoute dans un instant, votre émission du matin. À plus tard.
Good job. Au prochain. So the francophone is hooked up with a proper, just plug into the wall phone. I can just take this anyway.
Le point dans un instant sur le nombre de nouveaux cas de COVID-19 qui a continué à accélérer ce week-end et sur les nouvelles directives pour ce qui est des tests de la COVID-19 en Ontario. Et on prendra aussi des nouvelles d'une infirmière franco-ontarienne qui se battait pour travailler depuis le début de la crise malgré les besoins urgents de personnel qualifié. Elle a réussi à trouver un emploi. Donc, on lui parlera, on l'entendra dans quelques instants. Il y a pas 2 matins pareils. 7h10 déjà, toujours très chaud, très humide ce matin, même à l'intérieur. Oui, une belle journée, quelques détails, plus de détails plutôt à la météo dans quelques instants, mais je peux vous dire déjà que les températures ressenties sont autour de 26 sur le sud de l'Ontario en ce moment. Au Mercure, c'est 20, mais avec toute l'humidité, bien sûr, c'est plus chaud ce matin. Alors, une grosse matinée et une grosse semaine en vue en matière d'actualité liée à la COVID-19. On va parler des chiffres là, dans quelques instants avec notre collègue Camille Griroy qui va nous parler de l'accélération du nombre de nouveaux cas de COVID-19 en Ontario. Mais Annie, d'abord, le point sur ce qui est arrivé en fin de semaine au parc Trinity Bellwoods, bien sûr, c'est ce qui a fait les manchettes. Et là, maintenant, le maire de Toronto, John Tory, doit présenter des excuses en lien avec ce qui s'est passé au parc Trinity Bellwoods samedi parce qu'il s'est rendu sur place.
Voilà, et hier soir, John Tory a présenté ses excuses dans une lettre. Il explique qu'il était sur place pour tenter de comprendre pourquoi il y avait une foule qui s'y était rassemblée. Il ajoute qu'il a tenté de respecter les consignes de distanciation physique, mais que c'était très difficile. Et il admet aussi qu'il portait son masque de façon incorrecte après que plusieurs photos de lui aient circulé dans les médias sociaux. Samedi, il avait notamment dénoncé les personnes qui s'étaient rassemblées au parc Trinity Bellwoods. Et puis, bon, hier, en réaction à cette situation-là, il y avait plusieurs policiers et des inspecteurs municipaux qui étaient sur place et il y avait beaucoup moins de monde, là.
Oui, bien sûr. D'ailleurs, si vous voulez voir les images de Trinity Bellwoods samedi, si vous n'avez pas vu ces images-là, elles sont toujours sur radiocanada.ca/Toronto ce matin. Et ailleurs dans l'actualité, Annie, il y a un organisme qui achète un immeuble historique dans Parkdale. C'est pour assurer la survie d'une trentaine de logements abordables.
Oui, il s'agit de l'organisme Parkdale Activity Recreation Center qui a acheté un immeuble d'une valeur de 7 200 000 $ sur la rue Queen. Et ça va permettre à 40 locataires environ de conserver leur logement à prix abordable. Et ça veut aussi dire que l'organisme possède maintenant 4 immeubles dans le quartier et 110 appartements. Et ça confirme son rôle en tant que propriétaire qui aide les gens qui ont des problèmes de santé mentale et de toxicomanie.
Intéressant. Plus de détails et d'autres nouvelles, bien sûr, à 7h30 au bulletin d'information avec Annie Poulin. À tout de suite, Annie.
À tout de suite.
Elvis Nancy, lui, ce matin, nous parle de changement climatique.
Oui, Marjorie, un sujet qui ne fait pas vraiment l'actualité en ce moment, alors même que les organismes qui se préoccupent d'enjeux environnementaux et qui luttent pour la planète continuent leur engagement. Cela se fait bien sûr essentiellement en ligne en ce moment. Je vous en parle plus en détail tout à l'heure.
À plus tard, Elvis et Francine, un concert virtuel pour l'Afrique a lieu aujourd'hui.
Oui, je vous parlais plutôt de la Journée internationale de l'Afrique. C'est aujourd'hui. Eh bien, un concert virtuel va souligner cet événement. Un concert présenté par Idriss Elba. Je dis ça parce que mon cœur fond quand je prononce son nom, Idriss Elba, qui n'oublie pas ses origines ghanéennes et sierra-léonaises et qui a lui-même souffert de la Covid-19. Il va présenter donc l'Africa Day Concert at Home, un concert caritatif dont les fonds iront au Programme alimentaire mondial et à l'UNICEF dans le cadre de la lutte contre la Covid-19. Alors au programme, notre Angélique Kidjo.
Ah oui, on se l'approprie bien sûr. Elle aussi,
absolument. Les rappeurs sud-africains Aka et So Majoji, le chanteur nigérien Burna Boy ou encore le Tanzanien Diamond Platinum et une foule d'autres artistes qui seront rejoints entre autres par notre Serge Ibaka, lui aussi on se l'approprie.
Oui, il est à nous, Serge Ibaka.
L'animateur du Daily Show, Trevor Noah, Miss Univers 2019, Sosie Benitunzi, ou encore le musicien et acteur américain Omari Hardwick. Et les spectateurs pourront suivre toutes ces prestations sur la chaîne YouTube de la chaîne musicale MTV Base Africa à partir de 16h GMT, c'est-à-dire midi pour nous. Et le concert sera plus tard diffusé sur les chaînes MTV et MTV Base. Donc midi sur la chaîne YouTube de MTV Base Africa, tout ce beau monde en concert at home.
C'est tout un spectacle, ça. Alors, c'est à voir aujourd'hui, oui, de grands noms aussi.
Idriss Elba.
Ben oui, Serge Ibaka, Angélique. Merci, Francine. À la circulation, attention ce matin sur la 401 Est, collision dans les voies express, c'est juste après Bathurst, une voie qui est bloquée. Et toujours sur la 401 Est, un véhicule en panne à la hauteur de Ontario. Alors attention, là aussi, il y a une voie qui est bloquée. Sinon, en général, ça circule bien là, sur les routes du sud de l'Ontario ce matin. Il n'y a pas de ralentissement important à noter. Météo, c'est chaud, est-ce que je dois vous le rappeler? Ce sera comme ça toute la semaine. 21 degrés en ce moment, température ressentie 27. Le mercure qui va monter jusqu'à 29. Les températures ressenties aujourd'hui, à peu près 36. Sauf si vous êtes près du lac Ontario, il y a toujours la petite brise, bien sûr. Pour ce qui est du reste de la semaine, là, des températures au mercure entre 25 et 32. Oui, demain, les températures ressenties vont même atteindre 37, 38. Ce sera vraiment, vraiment très chaud toute la semaine. Peut-être des averses. Disons un temps, une météo un petit peu plus
rounds up to 40, 37, 38, 37 rounds to 35.
On prévoit un temps généralement ensoleillé.
38 rounds to 40. That's, you know, it gets 40, India.
Go get a test. You
But
will
it's not
not be turned
assuming
away.
this, so I'm
You
not
don't
saying
need
it's
an
the same. Well, it is
appointment.
sort of the
Just
same.
show up.
It's 40
C'était le premier
degrees here,
ministre
no
Doug Ford
humidity.
qui a fait
Here
une
it's so
section
humid,
hier,
it
qui est
feels like
sorti
40
le dimanche
degrees.
pour
It's basically the
s'adresser
same
aux
thing,
Ontariens
isn't it?
et il a
Your
invité
body's
tout le
doing the
monde
same
qui en
thing, dumping
ressent
the same
besoin
amount
à
of
aller se
sweat.
faire
Oh,
tester
God,
pour la
get the fuck out
COVID-19,
of the seat,
même
right?
ceux qui
Oh,
n'ont
I love
pas
it
de
hot.
symptômes, et
I'm
on
an
l'a
idiot.
entendu
I
dans
love it hot.
l'extrait,
I'm
et
sick of selling
personne
it.
ne sera renvoyé d'un centre de
Get
dépistage.
enough fuel
On en parle avec
to
notre
themselves
collègue Camille
to
Grirois ce
the
matin, qui fait le point avec nous sur la situation du coronavirus en Ontario. Bonjour Camille.
Bonjour Marjorie.
Donc, M. Ford qui a tenu ses propos qu'on entendait hier lors d'une brève allocution qu'il a faite devant la presse. Il n'a pas répondu à des questions, mais il s'est adressé aux Ontariens.
Oui, il a tenu à parler spécifiquement de l'enjeu du dépistage parce qu'on sait qu'il y a des ratés de ce côté-là. On en parle régulièrement. L'Ontario qui manque ses cibles pour le nombre de tests par jour. Et en fait, c'était le cas encore toute la semaine dernière. Au cours de la fin de semaine, on était autour de 11 000 tests par jour en 24 heures, quand la capacité serait de plus de 20 000 tests par jour. Alors, M. Ford qui a déclaré essentiellement que la seule manière d'augmenter la cadence de dépistage, c'est de permettre l'accès aux tests à plus de monde. Et donc, il appelle tous les Ontariens qui pensent avoir été exposés à la COVID-19 ou qui auraient été en contact avec une personne malade à se faire tester, et même s'ils n'ont pas de symptômes. Et donc, il y a des lignes directrices qui ont été envoyées hier au bureau de santé en ce sens. C'est un changement de direction parce que jusqu'ici, c'était seulement les personnes symptomatiques qui avaient accès au dépistage, à part pour certains groupes prioritaires, comme par exemple les résidents des centres de soins de longue durée. Mais on nous avait répété plusieurs fois, il n'y a pas assez d'écouvillons ou bien de réactifs en stock en Ontario pour pouvoir tester également les personnes asymptomatiques. Donc, on change un peu de ton de ce côté-là. Et la promesse d'ailleurs qui doit dévoiler cette semaine une nouvelle stratégie de dépistage plus détaillée qui va cibler d'autres secteurs, d'autres zones chaudes. Et d'ailleurs, M. Ford qui avait suggéré, par exemple, de cibler peut-être les camionneurs, les chauffeurs de taxi ou de livraison comme parmi des groupes prioritaires à tester également.
Oui, parce que pour avoir un portrait clair de la situation, bien sûr, maintenant qu'on sait qu'il y a des gens qui sont porteurs sans présenter de symptômes, ben, ça devient nécessaire qu'on dépiste, qu'on fasse des tests de dépistage aussi chez ces gens qui ne présentent pas de symptômes. Alors, ça va peut-être changer la donne, ça va peut-être changer les chiffres qu'on voit également. Et donc, pour hier, Camille, on a aussi profité pour dénoncer le comportement de certains Torontois qu'on a vus en fin de semaine qui se sont rassemblés dans des parcs. C'était surtout un problème au parc Trinity Bellwood samedi.
Oui, vous en parliez un peu plus tôt aux nouvelles, et ces images ont beaucoup circulé au cours de la fin de semaine, des milliers de personnes qui étaient rassemblées sur la pelouse au parc Trinity Bellwood. M. Ford qui a dit hier, on ne peut pas se permettre ce genre de comportement tant qu'on a ce virus mortel qui est parmi nous en Ontario. Et la ville de Toronto qui a également condamné ces regroupements de foule, elle a dit que c'était inacceptable. La médecin hygiéniste de Toronto, Irene de Villa, qui a dit que c'était des comportements égoïstes et que ça risquait de faire reculer Toronto dans sa bataille contre la la COVID-19. Évidemment, c'est sûr que le beau temps n'aide pas à la situation en ce moment et la ville de Toronto a aussi commencé à rouvrir progressivement les installations dans ses parcs, par exemple les tables de pique-nique, les terrains de sport, mais la règle du 2 mètres de distanciation tient toujours. Les rassemblements de plus de 5 personnes sont toujours interdits en Ontario jusqu'à nouvel ordre. Et d'ailleurs, hier, il y avait plus de policiers et d'agents municipaux sur le terrain et c'était pas exactement la même situation. On voyait beaucoup de moins de monde hier parce qu'on avait prévenu qu'on allait faire appliquer des sanctions aux besoins. Les Torontois qui pourraient encourir une amende de 1 000 $ s'ils ne respectent pas les mesures d'urgence sanitaire. Et peut-être signe que cette nouvelle réalité du printemps et du début du déconfinement est un peu difficile à comprendre à la fois pour la population mais aussi pour les élus. Le maire John Tory qui a lui-même dû s'excuser à propos de ça parce qu'il s'est rendu sur le terrain également samedi soir et qui s'est rendu compte que la distanciation était difficile à respecter.
Oui, bien sûr, on a vu des images qui ont circulé qui ont forcé d'ailleurs ces excuses. Vous pouvez trouver les détails ce matin sur notre site web. Et pendant ce temps, on revient aux chiffres, Camille. L'augmentation quotidienne des cas de COVID-19 poursuit sa remontée en Ontario.
Oui, la province a signalé hier 460 nouveaux cas. C'était la 5e fois de la semaine que la hausse se situe au-dessus de la barre des 400, alors qu'on était descendu autour plus des 300 dans les dernières semaines. Au total, c'est 25 500 personnes qui ont contracté la COVID-19 depuis le début de la crise. 76 % quand même de ces personnes qui sont guéries, mais on déplore aussi 2164 morts. Et un mot sur le système hospitalier qui est quand même encourageant, c'est qu'on voit les chiffres baisser pour ce qui est du nombre de personnes qui sont hospitalisées et aux soins intensifs. Donc, une meilleure nouvelle de ce côté-là.
Merci beaucoup, Camille Griroy, d'avoir fait le point sur cette situation avec nous ce matin. À bientôt.
Au revoir.
Il est 7h21.
L'actualité ontarienne expliquée. Vous écoutez, il n'y a pas de matin pareil, jusqu'à 9h.
Il y a quelques semaines, vous avez entendu sur nos ondes l'histoire de Nathalie Tremblay. C'est une infirmière franco-ontarienne qui habite maintenant à Montréal. Elle avait tenté de joindre sans succès les autorités ontariennes pour revenir travailler ici. Elle avait aussi tenté sans succès d'offrir ses services au gouvernement du Québec. Elle se battait pour travailler, imaginez, dans un contexte pourtant où on a besoin plus que jamais de personnel infirmier compétent comme elle. Alors, on prend de ses nouvelles ce matin parce qu'à force de se battre, elle a finalement trouvé un emploi pour combattre, comme elle le voulait, la pandémie de COVID-19. Elle est avec nous au bout du fil ce matin. Bonjour Nathalie Tremblay.
Bonjour.
Donc, vous travaillez maintenant au sein de l'équipe de la Direction de santé publique de Montréal. Quand vous aviez parlé à nos collègues il y a quelques semaines, vous disiez que vous vous sentiez impuissante de ne pas pouvoir aider alors que vous avez les compétences pour le faire. Comment vous sentez-vous maintenant que vous pouvez mettre l'épaule à la roue dans la pandémie, dans la lutte contre la pandémie?
Je me sens beaucoup mieux. Je me sens comme je fais quelque chose pour rendre la situation ici à Montréal, qui est toujours la plus pire au pays. Un petit peu mieux. Donc, pendant les dernières 2 semaines, je rentre au travail et j'essaie de retracer les cas et des contacts des cas concernés de COVID-19 et je trouve qu'avec chaque cas qu'on rejoint et chaque contact qu'on rejoint, on fait un petit effort pour atteindre
Non, effectivement. Vous avez travaillé, Nathalie, comme infirmière dans la région d'Ottawa pendant 5 ans. Vous aviez récemment terminé votre maîtrise en santé publique à Montréal. Donc là, vous travaillez vraiment dans votre domaine. Dites-moi pourquoi c'est si important en santé publique de faire le traçage des cas comme vous le faites maintenant?
C'est super important parce que des fois, les gens qui sont positifs pour la COVID-19 et ne le savent pas jusqu'au temps qu'ils ont le résultat de leur test de dépistage. Donc, il y a une période pré-symptomatique avant qu'ils ont le test ou avant qu'ils développent les symptômes où ils ont pu transmettre le virus à leur entourage ou à leur travail. Donc, quand on rejoint les cas qui sont positifs pour la COVID-19, on les demande pour tous leurs contacts étroits qu'ils ont été en contact avec dans cette période de contagiosité pour déterminer s'il y a autre monde qui ont été exposés possiblement au virus pour qu'on puisse les contacter et les demander de s'isoler et se surveiller pour les symptômes dans le but de contrôler la propagation du virus.
Vous savez, ici en Ontario, on semble avoir des problèmes là, en ce moment sur le traçage des cas et il y a le médecin hygiéniste en chef, David Williams, qui a dit que l'une des raisons, c'est que les gens ne disent pas toujours la vérité quand on leur demande qui ils ont fréquenté, parce que dans certains cas, ils n'ont pas respecté les règles et ils ne veulent pas se vendre, en quelque sorte, en donnant toute la vérité sur tout le monde qu'ils ont vu. Avez-vous l'impression que les gens vous disent toujours la vérité ou la plupart du temps la vérité?
C'est un peu difficile à savoir, mais c'est une question que je me pose moi-même. Je trouve que c'est un petit peu plus facile quand on a les cas positifs, donc quand on rejoint les cas eux-mêmes, parce qu'ils ont les cas positifs. Mais quand on fait le traçage des contacts, donc les personnes qui ont été en contact avec un cas positif, c'est un petit peu plus difficile de leur faire rappeler toutes les personnes qu'ils ont été en contact avec. Et oui, tu te demandes des fois comme est-ce que les gens sont honnêtes avec leur rapport de comme les milieux qu'ils ont fréquentés ou s'ils ont gardé les distances de 2 mètres et tout ça, mais c'est la seule façon qu'on a de tracer les cas, donc on doit se fier que les gens sont honnêtes et c'est mieux que faire rien. Donc, on fait ce qu'on peut et tu développes un rapport entre toi et le cas et le contact. Et moi, j'ai trouvé que habituellement, les gens sont assez comme aidants de donner les informations. Donc,
ils comprennent l'importance. Ils comprennent l'importance parce que c'est primordial qu'ils vous donnent le plus d'informations possible. Nathalie Tremblay, votre histoire nous avait touché, un peu secoué même, parce qu'il y a quelques semaines, vous vous battiez pour essayer d'entrer en contact avec les autorités au Québec en leur disant « Je suis infirmière, je veux aider » avec le portail « Je contribue ». On vous a jamais, on ne vous était pas revenu. Vous avez fait la même chose avec le gouvernement ontarien. Avez-vous eu des nouvelles finalement des autorités? Parce que c'est pas comme ça, je crois, que vous avez fini par trouver votre emploi. Mais avez-vous eu des nouvelles des autorités ontariennes ou québécoises après tous vos appels finalement à vouloir aider? Là?
Pas des autorités ontariennes et j'ai entendu dans les nouvelles et même la directrice ou la présidente de l'Association des infirmières de l'Ontario, elle disait qu'eux, ils ont comblé toute cette information de beaucoup d'infirmières qui voulaient donner la main forte en Ontario et c'était à les organismes de santé pour prendre cette information et agir sur ça. Donc, non, j'ai jamais eu une réponse de l'Ontario. Et au Québec, avec le portail de contribue, je pense qu'ils ont essayé ou tenté de me joindre quelques fois, mais c'est vraiment dommage parce qu'ils ne laissent pas un message si tu n'es pas disponible quand tu reçois l'appel. Donc, tu ne sais jamais si quelqu'un a tenté de te rejoindre. Et
But I'm thinking, however this sensor thing works, we could hook up like a fire sensor or a flood sensor, wherever this phone is installed, it would serve two purposes.
Une portail pour une des autorités de santé ici à Montréal et j'ai reçu un appel le lendemain après que j'ai reçu mon offre d'emploi à la direction de santé publique. Donc, c'est toujours comme ça.
Mais ça a quand même pris plusieurs semaines avant qu'on vous appelle. Donc, vous travaillez donc à la direction de santé publique de Montréal et là, vous allez avoir un nouveau rôle cette semaine dans une équipe de gestion des éclosions. Comment voyez-vous l'avenir proche dans les prochaines semaines, Nathalie, à Montréal? Parce qu'on sait le nombre de cas continue à augmenter. C'est un point chaud, Montréal, au pays. C'est vraiment l'épicentre de la pandémie. Comment envisagez-vous les prochaines semaines?
C'est vraiment difficile à dire, comme avec les mesures de déconfinement.
Well, I might as well find out when the next court date will probably be. I don't know, this is adjourned.
La situation et j'espère que les gens vont respecter les consignes de la santé publique de toujours garder leur distance et essayer de rester en contact avec leurs proches ou leur contact domicile ou leur famille. Mais on est conscient qu'avec la belle météo qui se développe dans les prochaines semaines, ça va être difficile. Donc, on espère qu'on peut compter sur les gens de toujours respecter les consignes et peut-être les petites mesures de déconfinement vont aider les gens à continuer à suivre les consignes. Donc, je ne sais pas exactement comment la situation va
So the
se dérouler,
provincial
mais
courts have
on
gone all the way
espère
through to
qu'on
July 3rd. They're done.
n'aura pas une situation qui s'empire.
Nathalie Tremblay, merci beaucoup d'avoir été avec nous ce matin. On vous souhaite la meilleure des chances. Merci.
Oui, merci à vous.
Nathalie Tremblay, qui est infirmière franco-ontarienne, qui habite maintenant au Québec, qui travaille donc à la direction de la santé publique de Montréal. Bonjour,
Do not
voici
attend
les
court.
informations
Underline.
régionales.
Thank you.
Les Ontariens
Thank you.
asymptomatiques peuvent maintenant
Section
passer un test
4.3.
de dépistage de la COVID-19. Hier, le premier ministre ontarien Doug Ford a demandé à tous ceux qui pensent être atteints de la COVID-19 ou qui ont été en contact avec une personne malade de se faire tester, même s'ils ne présentent pas de symptômes. Jusqu'ici, seules les personnes symptomatiques avaient accès au dépistage, à part pour certains groupes prioritaires comme les résidents et les employés de foyers de soins de longue durée. La province devrait dévoiler une nouvelle stratégie de dépistage détaillée dans les prochains jours. Elle indique qu'elle va cibler d'autres secteurs et zones chaudes. L'annonce d'hier survient alors que la cadence de dépistage est restée bien en dessous des cibles de la province la semaine dernière. Le maire de Toronto présente des excuses après s'être rendu au parc Trinity Bellwood samedi. John Tory explique qu'il était sur place pour comprendre pourquoi il y avait un rassemblement. Il admet qu'il ne portait pas correctement son masque lors de son passage. Des milliers de personnes se sont regroupées dans ce parc samedi pour profiter du beau temps. Nicolas Haddad a les détails.
I don't have a fucking lawyer. Stop telling me to move things forward this way. No, I don't have to help you.
Samedi après-midi. Le premier ministre de l'Ontario, Ford, a dénoncé les images tournées la veille qui montrent des Torontois bafouer les règles de distanciation sociale, exigeant un écart de 2 mètres entre chaque personne.
A resolution or just an urgent issue? No urgent issues are not the result.
Je comprends, mais on ne peut pas avoir ça, dit Doug Ford. La ville de Toronto affirme n'avoir distribué que 14 contraventions dans l'ensemble de ses parcs samedi, citant un souci de gestion de foule. Les photos et vidéos tournées au parc Trinity Bellwood samedi après-midi ont rapidement fait le tour.
Okay, this is what when Dre Bar says I'm gonna show up at your house with the bail cops and you'll see what that bail does. You'll see what that bail gets you. Resolutions, which is pleading guilty, including guilty pleas. It always involves pleading guilty. Guilty plea proceedings involving persons who are not in custody can be scheduled in urgent situations. Now check out what they call urgent. For example, where there is a deadline for eligibility for a particular program, why wouldn't that be extended? Or where an accused is on particularly onerous bail conditions. Hey, why not fix the bail conditions? Why don't I just go back in and say, fuck you? And I didn't read this part, but let's read it. In addition, where the regional senior judge is satisfied that the necessary courthouse resources are in place, appearances may be scheduled for accused persons who are not in custody to resolve their matter, including by withdrawal, stay, peace bond, or guilty plea. Withdrawal, stay, peace bond, or guilty plea. Wait, maybe scheduled. That judge is satisfied the resources in place. I was reading it. Okay, I'll use the second time because it's in English and it's legal. Parents may be scheduled, if I'm not custody, okay, to resolve their matter, okay. But how do we do that? Including by withdrawal, you can do that. Stay, you can do that. Peace bond, no. Guilty plea is peace bond, guilty plea, same. Okay. No, not calling legal aid. Oh, okay. Surety revocation that could revoke. God. Oh, wait a second. Oh, my surety revocation. Search warrants and any other urgent investigative matters, tracking warrants, transmission data, recorder warrants, production orders. Oh yeah, those are all real things. Transmission data, recorder warrants. My transmission don't have no data recorder. Tracking warrants. Tracking warrants. Production orders. That's where they order somebody else to produce records about you. Form 2, Mental Health Act applications. That's the 3-day thing. Form 1 is 30 days. Form 2 is 3. I don't know. These guys are fucked up. Number 2 comes first, then number 1. Because they're fucked up in Ontario's backwards. Children, Youth, and Family Services Act apprehension warrants. Any necessary and urgent Provincial Offences Act intake matters in courthouses. It also do a POA, but you don't. I don't think. Please contact the courthouse by email or telephone. You fucking kidding me? Email? Fuck off! I've tried to talk to you people by email for 20 years. No, I'm not clicking on it because it won't work. I'll click it. It'll open up my email program. It'll say insert at email.address or some shit. It won't. Okay, I'm confused here. It says remote proceedings, all proceedings. We're under section 4 here. Hold on. That is involving people in custody, suspension of all trials, banishment. It doesn't matter. Hold on. Resolutions requires 4.4 other matters. 4.5 remote proceedings. All proceedings will be conducted by audio conference and or video. Get the fuck out of here. Unless otherwise specified in this notice or is otherwise directed by a judicial official. No, I'm not required to own this equipment. No, fuck you. Fuck you. All the equipment you stole from me? No. No. We're not. No, you're not fucking. You can call all you want. I'll hang up on you. I'm not responsible for Bell Canada's service. Prove that I fucking hung up on you. Prove I'm not retarded or that my hand doesn't shake. My hand is shaking now. How many times have I cut the internet trying to work the phone? You assholes don't know how to do it, but I have to. Attendance in courtrooms for criminal matters will be restricted to the judicial official and essential court staff unless the judicial official directs otherwise. What about me? Court documents can be served by email. No, thank you. You don't have my personal. No. I got spam filters and shit. That's. Yeah, I can file with you. You're not filing documents. It can be served by email. Get the fuck out of here. Serve it all you want. Go check that, see if it's marked red. It ain't marked red unless you read it, asshole. Oh, you're gonna try to serve the business email, the personal? No. I don't even check that one, really. But I'll check that one right now. I do. Some told me not to check my fucking emails. Some told me not to check my emails, so I didn't. Not for a while now. Oh, there's nothing there I need to know about. I'll get paid the same day. I always get paid. My phone bill will get paid the same day. It always gets paid. No, fuck all y'all. Everything I gotta say, I've been saying. No, fuck you. I'm feeling better. My face going right. Fuck you. I ain't got no energy though. I'm wasting away. These fucking assholes make so much noise about this special diet thing. They changed the special diet. What diet did they remove? Wasting. Who's wasting? People that are dying. There's 2 levels, 2% of your body weight and 5% of your body weight. I should be 165 and more, and now it's like 150 to change for me. It's more, that's more. It's 10%. Yeah, there you go, 10%.
Sur notre page Facebook, Ici Toronto, et sur Twitter, @Toronto.
Les nouveautés techno avec notre chroniqueur Carl-Edwin Michel. Bonjour.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Carl-Edwin, d'abord une nouveauté qui pourrait avoir du succès à cause du contexte actuel, où que les gens restent à la maison, ils ont peut-être tendance à investir davantage dans leur équipement à la maison. Samsung qui annonce une nouvelle gamme de téléviseurs pour l'extérieur.
Oui, il y a une nouvelle gamme de téléviseurs pour l'extérieur, mais avant de commencer avec Samsung, j'aimerais pas dire bon retour sur les ondes. C'est la première fois qu'on se parle depuis votre retour, donc je suis bien content de vous parler ce matin.
Ben, le plaisir est partagé. Merci beaucoup, Pierre-Edwin. Donc, Samsung, avec cette nouvelle, est-ce que c'est vraiment nouveau? Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres compagnies qui ont fait ça, des télévisions pour l'extérieur?
They should be in there right on time making phone calls, are they? They're going to automatically turn, eh?
Ils appellent ça la terrasse. C'est vraiment le nom de
téléviseur de terrasse. C'est un
téléviseur QLED de 4K. Téléviseur intelligent. Donc, ça va ressembler, si on veut, à un téléviseur qu'on connaît bien, téléviseur que vous avez à la maison. Il y a plusieurs modèles, 55 pouces, 75 pouces. La différence, c'est que ce téléviseur-là
We're all violating our fucking bill. No, we're not. You can't do that. It's illegal. It's unlawful. It's against the charter. Yeah, we'll fucking shoot you. Plus, you stand up to that piece of paper behind your ear, Joe. Ask the RCMP in Nova Scotia how we get
qui fait pour l'extérieur.
Il y a aussi une autre question par rapport à, justement, à tout ce qui est la technologie. N'importe qui est sorti dehors pour travailler avec son laptop, avec son ordinateur, pour regarder un film ou pour travailler dehors. On sait que parfois c'est difficile pour ce qui est de la visibilité avec le soleil et tout. J'imagine que Samsung a pensé à ça dans la conception de cette télé pour l'extérieur.
On parle de la terrasse, justement, ce qu'on appelle un écran cristallin. Donc, qui peut être une luminosité vraiment plus élevée pour l'extérieur. On parle de 2 minutes, qui est le calcul qu'on fait pour la luminosité. Donc, c'est une luminosité très élevée qui permet que quand il y a une journée justement très ensoleillée, on est capable de bien voir l'image. Donc, en fait, l'image s'affiche avec la lumière qui vient vers l'écran. Donc, c'est intéressant comme technologie. C'est un modèle qui est disponible dès maintenant. Elle est Wi-Fi, Bluetooth aussi. Pour la barre de son, il y a une barre de son qui est vendue séparément, mais une barre de son aussi qui est résistante aux intempéries, qui est vendue avec ce téléviseur-là, donc c'est intéressant. Samsung rentre dans ce marché-là, et comme vous venez de dire, les gens restent à la maison, tous les gens plus, vous avez pouvoir profiter de votre divertissement au soleil.
Maintenant qu'on peut plus aller au cinéma, je vous avais dit, vous m'aviez parlé de ce concept-là il y a 1 an, il y a quelques mois, je vous j'avais pas dit Carl-Edwin, vous sortez dehors, au lieu de regarder la télé, d'aller faire du sport. Avec le contexte actuel, avec les gens qui restent beaucoup à la maison, je trouve pas ça fou avoir une télévision sur sa terrasse, sur son balcon, pourquoi pas.
You don't go after low hanging fruit. You don't seem to get it. I'm not doing anything. That's why I don't give a fuck what you see me doing.
Justement, oui, c'est vraiment populaire en ce moment. Là, je vois qu'il y a un boom du côté de votre spécialité, justement, les sports électroniques et tout ce qui est jeux en ligne. Et là, il y a Minecraft qui sort un nouveau jeu, une nouvelle version, mais c'est pas un jeu qui est comme les autres de la série, n'est-ce pas?
Microsoft m'a contacté et je les remercie, m'ont contacté pour me donner de jeux. Avec mes enfants dernièrement, c'est vraiment la grosse chose. On joue à Minecraft. J'ai jamais été Minecraft, j'ai jamais fait Minecraft est populaire, mais ce jeu-là est complètement différent. C'est un jeu donc, en français, là, ça serait rempli dans un donjon. C'est vraiment de découvrir, essayer de découvrir des secrets, les fantômes de l'écran en même temps. C'est une vue de haut, c'est qu'on voit une carte et on voit un personnage se promène.
All the French teachers are bilingual. English teachers don't. Well, they don't have to be. They don't have to pass math. They don't even have to pass literacy tests. They're fighting passing a math test. They don't want to be tested for math. I think you have to be able to count how many kids you are.
Sur Xbox et Xbox Game Pass. Donc, pour ceux qui sont
dumb enough to say I don't want to pass a math test, I said you shouldn't be. How do you qualify to be a teacher? You're that stupid. You should have said, okay, math test, that sounds fun. Math test, you use math all the time.
Gratuitement que vous pouvez télécharger
speak English if you do that. We'll find a way to communicate with
ça
you.
sauve de l'argent parce qu'on sait que les jeux vidéo, ça peut être assez dispendieux. Donc, avec une Game Pass, vous payez un montant fixe et pour l'année ou par mois, et puis vous pouvez avoir accès comme ça à des jeux. Donc, disponible sur la Game Pass, sur PC, sur la Switch et la PlayStation 4. Donc, ça s'appelle le Minecraft.
We'll communicate very well, of course.
Je comprends que vos enfants vont apprécier plus que vous. Vous avez l'air d'avoir quand même un peu de plaisir.
That's what's going to want to pass English tests and
Ça m'a
math
permis
tests.
de m'approcher avec eux et de
What did you learn in fucking
avec eux. En fait, c'est vraiment cool. Et en fait, mes deux enfants ont chacun leur laptop, leur ordinateur, puis on leur a mis des écouteurs et puis ils se parlent en jouant parce que ça se joue en coop aussi, ce jeu-là. Donc, vous pouvez jouer de 2 jusqu'à 4 en même temps. Donc, vraiment, ça nous a permis encore de nous tenir ensemble et de s'amuser, trouver des activités intérieures.
Oui, et pour les auditeurs qui ne savent pas, vos enfants, là, ils sont en bas âge. Donc, pour ceux qui ont des enfants qui sont plus jeunes, donc ça peut être une possibilité Minecraft. Et en terminant, Microsoft qui lance une nouvelle gamme d'appareils Surface.
Oui, Microsoft qui lance des nouveaux appareils Surface. Maintenant, ils ont plusieurs. Maintenant, ils sont rendus à 5 différents modèles de Surface. Soit des laptops ou des tablettes hybrides, si on veut. Et là, ils viennent de lancer les deux nouveaux modèles. C'est la Surface Go 2 et la Surface Book, en fait, qui est la Surface Pro 3, si on veut. Donc, la Surface Go, c'est une tablette, vraiment une tablette comme toutes les autres tablettes que vous connaissez, une tablette de 10 pouces. Par contre, c'est une tablette qui vient avec un clavier. Et ça vous permet une tablette de compagnon. Là, si vous voulez, là, si vous êtes à la maison, vous allez avoir votre tablette pour aller sur les réseaux sociaux et tout, un peu comme un iPad, si on veut, mais avec le système d'exploitation de Microsoft. Donc, c'est Windows. Donc, c'est vraiment intéressant de ce côté-là. Très léger. Et ce qui est bien aussi avec cette tablette-là, c'est que vous allez pouvoir installer des programmes comme Photoshop et autres. C'est sûr que ça va être plus lent parce que c'est pas une tablette qui est très très puissante, mais vous allez pouvoir installer des logiciels réguliers que vous installez normalement sur un ordinateur. Donc ça, c'est une bonne chose. La Surface Pro 3, par contre, elle est vraiment puissante. Donc vous allez pouvoir même faire du montage vidéo. C'est ça pour le travail. C'est vraiment un portable, un laptop, mais l'écran se détache. Donc, vous pouvez détacher l'écran et l'utiliser comme une tablette, par exemple, faire des présentations, des trucs comme ça. Ces deux modèles-là viennent aussi avec des stylets. Donc, ça, c'est aussi intéressant si vous voulez faire des dessins, écrire, prendre des notes. Vous allez pouvoir faire ça aussi sur les deux modèles. Donc, ces deux modèles-là sont disponibles dès maintenant, depuis jeudi dernier. Donc, vous pouvez vous les procurer dans tous les bons magasins.
Comme quoi, Carl Edwin, la planète techno n'a pas arrêté de tourner, bien au contraire, avec le contexte de la pandémie. Et merci beaucoup, Carl Edwin. C'est un plaisir de vous retrouver ce matin.
Merci, Marjorie. Au revoir.
Au revoir. Et des jeux vidéo et du monde techno, on passe à la lecture avec les finalistes en liste pour les prix Trivium et la date de l'annonce des lauréats. Francine, vous avez rencontré l'un des finalistes de la catégorie littérature francophone, donc en liste pour les prix Trivium.
Oui, donc des prix qui vont être décernés le 17 juin. On connaîtra les heureux gagnants. Et j'ai discuté avec Jean Boisjoli, qui est un des auteurs finalistes des prix Trivium dans la catégorie roman francophone, enfin littérature francophone. Et c'est une deuxième nomination pour Jean Boisjoli, qui a déjà remporté ce prix en 2017 pour son premier roman La mesure du temps. Cette année, c'est pour le roman Moi, Sam, elle, Janice qui est finaliste. Et c'est un roman qui raconte les entretiens de Sam, un jeune homme accusé de meurtre, avec un psychiatre qui est chargé par la justice de déterminer si Sam était en possession de ses moyens au moment du meurtre. Alors, deuxième fois en lice pour ce prix Trivium, comment est-ce que Jean Boisjoli a-t-il accueilli la nouvelle?
Bien, écoutez, j'étais heureux. Au départ, je dois dire que je m'attends à rien lorsque j'écris, en ce sens que j'espère
faire du mieux que je peux. Dans ce roman-ci, par exemple, et voyez-vous, j'étais évidemment très heureux. Est-ce que j'étais surpris? Je ne sais pas. Probablement pas, parce que je ne vise pas les récompenses, en ce sens que prenez un comédien. Un comédien joue au théâtre pour faire du théâtre. Un comédien ne joue pas au théâtre pour devenir une grande vedette. Et c'est un peu la comparaison que j'établis. Oui, je suis bien heureux. Je pense que j'ai travaillé fort. Je n'ai pas eu de mauvaises critiques et bon, je me compte heureux et chanceux de ça. Et cela dit, il y a 3 autres finalistes qui sont des collègues. Je n'appelle pas ça des concurrents, mais des collègues. Et j'aimerais aussi leur dire merde, de leur souhaiter bonne chance, parce qu'ils la méritent tous aussi.
Si on parle du livre, qu'est-ce qui vous a questionné, qu'est-ce qui vous a intéressé en racontant l'histoire d'une jeunesse amochée par la vie, donc deux jeunes qui portent les stigmates de leur enfance et qui essayent de garder la tête hors de l'eau?
Oui, c'est exactement. Je voulais illustrer par 2 cas concrets l'effritement de la société. D'ailleurs, on voit ça davantage avec la crise pandémique que l'on vit en ce moment. Il y a une jeunesse qui, je pense, vit dans une société à la dérive. On ne sait pas où on s'en va avec tous les avancements technologiques et tout ça. Alors, j'ai voulu prendre un cas concret, 2 jeunes. Le garçon vient du quartier Vanier d'Ottawa, qui est le quartier défavorisé. La demoiselle vient, je l'ai inventée, d'une commune épie du nord du Manitoba, parce que je voulais trouver le contraire de ce qu'il était. Lui est très urbain, c'est un roman urbain. Ils se rencontrent et ils ont une relation très toxique qui ne peut que finir mal. En fait, elle est trouvée morte et lui est accusé de meurtre.
Le livre se passe dans le cabinet d'un psychiatre qui va prendre part à la décision de la détermination de la culpabilité ou non du jeune homme, Sam. Et vous avez été professeur, vous avez été journaliste, vous avez été avocat. Est-ce que vous auriez pu, à un moment de votre vie, être psychiatre?
Non, mais j'en ai consulté plusieurs. Pour ce roman-ci, j'ai fait beaucoup de recherches. J'ai parlé à un psychiatre, 2 psychologues, des policiers, des travailleurs sociaux dans ce quartier-là. C'est important de parler au psychiatre parce que le roman se déroule dans le bureau du psychiatre. Sam, le garçon, est accusé de meurtre. Son avocate soulève la défense de l'aliénation mentale. Le psychiatre doit analyser, écouter Sam et s'assurer, comme il le dit lui-même, de ne pas se faire jouer des tours par Sam, qui peut lui conter des histoires. L'important, c'est de savoir, de laisser le lecteur se faire une idée quant à Sam. Tout ce que j'ai entendu, c'est que, de tous les commentaires, c'est que il a peut-être tué Janice et d'autres personnes, mais on l'aime quand même, ce garçon-là. Ce n'est pas un roman policier, c'est un roman psychologique de la même, et je ne me compare pas à lui.
And storm-free today. 17 for the low, 30 tomorrow will feel like 37. Higher chance of showers and thunderstorms for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we'll start to cool down for the end of the week. Right now it feels like 27 already with the humidity. 21 degrees, sun, clouds at Pearson. Cooler, though, near the lake. Sunshine, 15 at 680 News. The guaranteed high today, 29.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Roto-Rooter Emergency Services. With Roto-Rooter's new contact-free service, there's no need to delay calling for help with your basement drain or water cleanup problem. Call 1-800-GET-ROTO or visit rotorooter.com.
680 News Time, 7:53.
Now your Need to Know update brought to you by CapitalDirect.ca. Testing for COVID-19 set to ramp up in this province, with the premier saying anyone concerned can now get a test. Mayor Tory's apologizing after photos of him at Trinity Bellwoods Park this weekend showed he wasn't wearing his mask properly and wasn't keeping at least 2 meters away from people. And parliamentarians will haggle today over what daily operations in the House of Commons should look like in the COVID-19 era. These stories and everything you need to know coming up at 8 o'clock.
680 News Time, 7:54.
Have you heard about direct lending? It's more flexible than bank lending without the bank. With tougher regulations after the financial crisis, traditional banks have cut back on lending to homeowners. With a home equity loan from Capital Direct, the money that you could use is a simple phone call away. Whether it's home renovations, college tuition, or you just want to pay down taxes, Capital Direct can help. Go direct. Call Capital Direct today at 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL to see what's available for you. .ca. We work for you.
From talking to the newsmakers,
To getting the answers to what you need to know about COVID-19.
and answers about your job and finances.
If you have a question, ask it at 680news.com/answers.
680 News gets the answers.
We're in this together.
680 News, working for you.
So did you get outside yesterday to enjoy the warm weather? It turns out it was even warmer than we predicted. And one lucky 680 News listener has cashed in as a result. Our Jeff Verhoeven is here with the details on another blown weather guarantee.
We put our money where our mouth is. And when we guaranteed yesterday's high would be 22 degrees and it got up to 26 at Pearson, that's a miss. So we pay up.
Even when it goes
and
over?
what a way to start the week for Maria Young in Newmarket, getting a call from us to let her know she's just won $3,100.
So that's less. That's no more than 31 days.
Available now.
Oh, no, Maria, we're trying to get a hold of you. Maria, wake up. If you see a weird number on your phone, pick up. It's just us. We have some good news for you.
Yeah, we have money for you, Rogers. Yeah.
And you can win some money too. All you have to do to enter the weather
remember they
guarantee
signed
is
up
go
for
to
this shit last year or something.
680news.com/contests. I'm Jeff Verhoeven.
680 News Time, 7:56.
Are you looking for non-medical face masks? StrippedThreads.ca has one of the best selections of non-medical face masks at some of the lowest prices in Canada. Whether it's disposable, washable, printed, camo, cotton, or your favorite color, we have the face mask to fit your budget and style. FactoryDirect.ca also carries other non-medical products such as hand sanitizer, gloves, face shields, and much, much more. Visit our website at FactoryDirect.ca or one of our 20 stores in Southern Ontario. Don't wait, supplies are limited. Get the products you need today.
Wednesdays on CBC. It's back-to-back crime dramas based on the novels by Agatha Christie.
Would do something like this.
First, ABC Murders. A copy of the ABC Railway Guide. It is the killer telling us the rules of the game. Then, a family with killer secrets in Ordeal by Innocence.
So if you don't find the killer, the whole family is under suspicion for the rest of their life.
Don't miss the suspense. Starting Wednesday night on CBC.
Let's keep the damn money.
Time for the 680 News Business Report. Here is Chris McCusker. Well, Catherine, Bay Street trying for a second straight winning day. It is coming off a winning week last week, but still down by a little more than 12% year to date. And we are going to get bank earnings this week, starting with Scotiabank and National Bank tomorrow. Now, it could be a tough quarter for the banks as mortgage and loan deferral programs rolled out amid COVID-19. These 6 big banks we are hearing could be setting aside $8.9 billion for bad loans in the fiscal second quarter, which would be a record amount. It works out to about half the industry's profits. Now, in the U.S., markets closed for Memorial Day. There are these renewed concerns, though, about the relationship between the U.S. and China. The rhetoric, let's say, got ramped up last week with both countries taking steps. The U.S. accusing China of not doing enough to stop the pandemic, while China took steps to tighten its grip on Hong Kong. Now, having said that, Dow futures right now up by 231, S&P futures up by 27. We also have gains overseas in Europe with the DAX now higher by 2%, the CAC 40 up by 1.4%. So that might set the tone for Bay Street, although gold right now is down $9, $17.44. Oil is higher by 28 cents, $33.53 a barrel. And the Canadian dollar right now is up by 71.49 cents US. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
It's time. It's time to stop rearranging the utensil drawer. It's time to stop baking bread. It's time to stop looking out and start heading out. It's time to put life back in drive. Because right now at Toyota, you can get great offers on all new models with our most advanced safety features at no extra cost. And take advantage of our 6-month payment deferral plan. Visit shoptoyota.ca or contact your local dealer to book an appointment. We're ready when you are.
Could you use $20,000? $30,000? How about $300,000? With a home equity loan from Capital Direct, the money you need, the money you could really use right now, is a simple phone call away. Compared to the banks these days, Capital Direct's lending criteria is not as strict. If you own property, Capital Direct can help. It's that simple. Call them today at 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL. CapitalDirect.ca.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Walmart.
May is Hypertension Month. Learn about risk factors and management from your pharmacist at Walmart. This message is presented by Sandoz Canada.
In downtown Toronto, sunshine, 15 degrees. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. It's 8 o'clock.
Oh, no.
On for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Paul Cook and Catherine Chattay.
Good morning. This is Monday, the 25th of May.
Here's what's making news right now.
If you're worried about possible exposure to COVID-19, the Premier has a message. Ontario is expanding COVID-19 testing as part of a new strategy to contain the virus. Mayor Tory was among those seen not practicing physical distancing in a packed park on a sunny Saturday afternoon. He has now apologized.
As the threat of a second wave of this deadly virus looms, a Toronto-based researcher is calling for big changes in the way we react to and monitor outbreaks. His software sounded the alarm early about this pandemic.
A humid X in the mid-30s and a chance of thunderstorms nearly every afternoon. Yes, summer weather has arrived for the last week of May.
Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning winning the match over Mickelson and Brady, and the NBA talking to the folks at Disney about playing theirs. Booked at 50.
The TSX looks to extend a winning streak, with help potentially coming from the most valuable company on Bay Street, and Wall Street is closed for Memorial Day. Business at 26. 680 News, time 8:01.
Traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by City TV. Here's Seth Bogenstein.
All right, Paul, eastbound 401 is slowing down. East of Mississauga Road to east of Mavis. That looks good for quite a while, but you'll find this delay now from Islington to Weston in the Express. It seems like everything beyond that has opened up, though. I really haven't seen much regarding the westbound 401. That's been moving well really all morning long, and now that we have these problems going to the east 401, volume starting to ease really anywhere. And in the meantime, if you're traveling on the westbound QEW, there's construction at Winston Churchill, which has the left lane blocked, but DVP 404 still a pretty good drive. Same with the 400, both north and south. Not too much to worry about. Watch out, though, on Highway 7, around the 427, just west of it to be particular. We are dealing with some lane closures, all because of a collision, so it has things really slow in both directions. Keep that in mind if you're heading through there. Also, the intersection of actually Bathurst, that whole stretch from Fort York to Front shut down for bridge repairs. The intersection of Church and Richmond closed until the end of June. Get the latest news affecting our community every night on City News at 6 and 11, only on City TV. With the forecast, Jill Taylor.
Hot, hazy, humid for us today. Just a slight chance of some wet weather. Right now already feels like 27 with the humidity. Sun cloud 21 at Pearson, 15 at 680 News. The guaranteed high 29. 680 News, time 8:02.
Cases of COVID-19 still alarmingly
We got
high.
10 weeks to go, then I
Changing
might
its
as well
guidelines
plan
for who can and should be tested for the virus.
680's Kevin Meisner joins us live from Queen's Park, where a more detailed plan for ramped-up testing is due out this week. Kevin.
Catherine, Premier Doug Ford says going forward, anyone in the province can get a test for COVID-19. The test no longer limited to those showing symptoms or for frontline healthcare staff.
Our best defense right now is to ramp up testing.
Ford says the only way for the province to reach its testing capacity of nearly 25,000 per day is for people to show up to provincial assessment centers. He says no one will be turned away.
If you're worried, if you have COVID-19, or that you've been exposed to someone who has COVID-19, even if you're not showing symptoms, please go get a test.
Ontario right now is averaging around 11,000 tests per day. The Globe and Mail is reporting that the province's new testing strategy to be unveiled this week will be to test people without symptoms in high-risk groups, including first responders, taxi drivers, workers in meat packing and auto plants, as well as school-age children.
The idea to narrow down where the virus is spreading within the community. Experts say expanded testing is a good thing, but it needs to have a focused strategy, not just a wide-open invitation to the public. There were 460 new confirmed cases in Ontario Sunday, pushing Ontario's total to 25,500. There have been 2,073 deaths. At Queen's Park, Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
680 News time 8:04. Mayor Tory admits he made mistakes after he was photographed breaking physical distancing rules this weekend when he visited a crowded West End park. Our Carl Hansky's at Trinity Bellwoods Park this morning with a story and reaction.
There's the odd walker and dog walker this morning here at Trinity Bellwoods Park, but it is nothing like Saturday when residents say thousands packed this park.
I've seen groups of like 10, 20 people sitting together without any social distancing.
I get it that it's been a long winter. People want to be outside, enjoy the sun. But it's really unfortunate to see that these people chose to do this.
Mayor Tory ended up being one of them. He came to check out the crowd and was photographed standing close to people with his mask down around his neck.
He's just like any other human, so we should cut him some slack.
But the mayor has apologized, saying, quote, "As a leader in this city, I know I must set a better example going forward," unquote. Tory says he attended
that shouldn't have people's lawns drinking in the park
and made it difficult to do.
Ripping the signs out, playgrounds, and all that other shit.
680 News time 8:05. It's going to feel a lot like summer this week with high heat and humidity. 680's Alex Bloomfield is here live on the Weather Watch. Alex.
Well, Catherine, if winter lasted 6 months, why can't summer do the same thing, right? Let's just skip right over spring and get started a month early. That's what we're doing this week. We're not just dipping our toes into the heat. It's going to feel like mid-August. Our meteorologist Jill Taylor says we could be flirting with the record high on Wednesday.
The record for a May 27th at Toronto Pearson is 31.7, set in 1939. Could hit 32 for Wednesday, so we'll watch that. Humidex values 37, 38.
Tuesday, Wednesday, setting up to be the warmest days, but today, no slouch either. The guaranteed high, 29 degrees. It will feel more like 34. And speaking of our guarantee, our jackpot has now been reset. After we blew the weather guarantee Sunday, Maria Young of Newmarket announces the winner of $3,100 about 45 minutes ago. So if you're looking for some summer spending money, join our Insider Club at 680news.com for your chance to win later on. Reporting live, I'm Alex Bloomfield.
680 News time 8:06. The pandemic may force companies to change their policies around people coming into work sick. From the 680 Business Center, our Chris McCusker has the story.
Showing up to work sick is called presenteeism. That's according to an associate professor of human resource management at the University of Guelph. Nita Chinzer says it happens when a culture praises overwork. But she adds low-wage workers and people who work several jobs may not get paid sick days, creating a financial incentive too. But those days may be gone, with many experts suggesting it now seems reckless and irresponsible. And we are seeing signs there could be a shift in workplace culture. Many companies are now doing regular health checks on their employees as stores reopen. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker. 680 News time 8:07. The software he helped create saw the COVID-19 pandemic coming. Now a U of T researcher wants to change the way the world watches for and reacts to disease outbreaks. 680's Jamie Pulfer has the story.
The Toronto-based researcher is now calling for those big changes, especially with the threat of a second wave of this virus. Dr. Carmen Kahn is the founder and CEO of Blue Dot, the pandemic predicting software that sounded the alarm early about COVID-19, even tracking the 800,000 travelers who flew out of Wuhan, China on December 31st.
Do you think of an outbreak a bit like a fire and embers flying off? These are like embers flying off into different locations.
Quickly able to predict where the virus was going to hit next. He says the world is changing with diseases emerging at a greater frequency and having bigger impacts. And this software uses big information and artificial intelligence to provide a bird's eye view of diseases around the world in real time. I'm Jamie Pulfer.
680 News time 8:08. A limited number of MPs returned to the House of Commons today, where they will resume battle over how to hold future proceedings of Parliament during the COVID-19 pandemic. As we hear from our Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney, their previous deal to set up a special committee instead of regular sittings expires today.
Is it safe for Parliament to meet regularly in person during this pandemic? That's the question MPs will clash over as they debate opposing motions over the path forward. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer making a move to declare Parliament an essential service so that regular proceedings continue with at least 50 MPs.
This is about whether or not a country like Canada can have a functional Parliament during a crisis.
But the Trudeau government is proposing to expand the special committee sittings to have 2 virtual meetings, 1 in person and 1 hybrid. There could also be 4 regular House sittings over the summer. Since this is a minority government, the Liberals need the help of at least one other party. The NDP has indicated if the Liberals agree to supports for disabled Canadians and a plan for paid sick leave during the pandemic, the party will support the Liberal motion. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
6 City News time 8:09. Community spread of COVID-19 remains high, with about 70% of new cases happening outside of outbreak locations, including seniors' homes. The Toronto Star analysis includes data from 7 Ontario health units, representing nearly 80% of the COVID-19 cases seen in the province so far. It found new infections from outbreaks in long-term care homes and other institutional settings are down since spiking in mid-April. The University of Toronto epidemiologists who reviewed the STAR's data noted an upward turn in non-outbreak cases beginning on May 15th, just 5 days after Mother's Day, when many people may have gone to see their families despite physical distancing and social gathering measures.
680 News time, 8:10. You're with Toronto's only all-news radio 680 News. Some Toronto Public Library locations will start accepting book returns today. Select library boxes will be unlocked today, while the remaining drop boxes will be open June 1st. A full list is on the library's website. Library customers can continue to place holds online, but curbside pickup will not be available until early June. The library estimates that more than 1 million items are currently out on loan.
This is 680 News.
Amazon is hiring near you. No resume or previous work experience required. Health and safety are a top priority with all of our roles and sites. Amazon is taking precautions in our buildings to keep people healthy. Learn more or find a job now at amazon.ca/apply. That's amazon.ca/apply.
6 City News time 8:11.
Traffic and weather together on the ones, brought to you by Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
Eastbound 401, bit of a slowdown as you make your way through the express lanes from Islington to Weston. Luckily, though, that's it. Nothing really else doing on the East 401. Meantime, if you're taking the East 407 as an alternate, just expect some paving in the 2 left lanes from Dundas over to Bronte. So things a little bit slow through that stretch. Westbound 401, not much doing through here. DVP 404 has been a pretty good drive all morning long. You'll find that looking good into and out of downtown. West Mall Evans ramp to the West QEW still closed for construction until Wednesday morning. And the West QEW at Winston Churchill, we have the left lane blocked for some construction. Off of the major routes, looks like that problem's gone on Highway 7 west of the 427. Meantime, Bathurst still shut down until the end of the year. From Fort York to Front, there's some bridge repairs and TTC track work happening in that area. And road work until the end of June on Church and Richmond, so that entire intersection off limits for now. Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers thanks our frontline workers and all of you who have made a contribution in the fight against COVID-19. They're proud to stand by your side during these challenging times and will always be here to support you. Visit them at bplawyers.ca. With a look at your forecast, Jill Taylor.
It's already very warm this morning. Already feels like 29 with the humidity in many areas, especially away from the lake. As with the humidity and the actual guaranteed high today, the temperature is 29 degrees. It'll feel like 34 this afternoon. Slight chance of showers or isolated thunderstorms, mainly in the west end. Higher chance of some wet weather tomorrow. Tuesday's high 30 will feel like 37. Right now, mostly cloudy, 22 at Pearson, rather hazy, 16 at 680 News. Again, feeling like 29 in many areas this morning, especially away from the lake. Guaranteed high, 29.
fucking sick.
City News Time, 8:13.
Now, the dynamic funds market minute.
Over to Chris McCusker at the 6 City News Business Center. Chris. Well, Catherine, U.S. markets closed for Memorial Day, so perhaps Bay Street will take its cue from Europe. We've got the CAC 40 up by 1.4%. The DAX is higher by 2%. So a fairly positive tone overseas. Now, as far as Bay Street goes, is trying for a second straight winning day. The price for gold right now is down $7.1745. Oil is higher by 22 cents. $33.47 a barrel. That's a jump of about 0.5%. While the Canadian dollar is higher by 3/100, 71.48 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Get started in 3 easy steps and begin your investing journey from home today. Learn more at ScotiaITrade.com. Still ahead on 680 News. Budweiser Stage is coming to you. The summer concert series will be broadcast on City.
6 City News Time, 8:14.
Doctors are good people and only want what's good for their patients. So if they say you can't work, I believe them. And so should your long-term disability insurer. My name is Aaron Wax. If your long-term disability claim has been denied, call me 416-661-4878. Don't worry about upfront legal fees because there are none. At my law firm, we only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
Hey, these motherfuckers fucked up their weather.
I know you're an expert on buying a car and all, and I appreciate that. I really do. But there was a person maybe just maybe everybody could use a little help, like Jerry here.
Well, she told me it was easy. I went to OntarioCars.ca.
Fuck it up more like you were to tune in, so for advertising. Fucked up. What's your
OntarioCars.ca to find sellers you can trust. Don't worry, you'll be just fine.
This is All News Radio, 680 News. 16 degrees with sunshine and a humidex of 27. Good morning from 680 News broadcast center downtown Toronto.
I'm Catherine Jeté. Here are the top stories right now.
Week 11 of our pandemic life begins with a new strategy for the provincial government to allow even people without symptoms to get tested for COVID-19. A mea culpa from Mayor Tory for questionable physical distancing and poor mask etiquette during his appearance at the Trinity Bellwoods Park debacle. You get a first-hand insight of the mass violation of public health guidelines. Coming up after sports.
With the peak not expected for at least a week, staggering COVID-19 numbers continue to come out of Brazil. Patios open in major cities in Spain and state of emergency over in Japan. Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Simon Bennett.
Wow, so much fun at the Medalist Golf Course in Florida. The match champions for charity yesterday. The second match between Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson. Peyton Manning teaming with Tiger.
I want to hear the tractor pull results. Them motherfuckers don't do it in 6 seasons over.
It was close with Tiger's team winning it, holding on to a one-shot lead on the final hole. $20 million raised for COVID-19 relief. There was NASCAR last night as well.
Brad Keselowski will claim his first victory in the Coca-Cola 600.
Leader Chase Elliott and others choosing to pit late, while others didn't during a late caution. Brad Keselowski among those staying out and getting the win last night in Charlotte. German Bundesliga, third place Leipzig with a 5-0 win over Mainz. Augsburg over Schalke 3-0. Cologne Dusseldorf 2-2. As leagues continue to plan their returns, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo giving the okay the teams in that state to resume training. Sports 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime. Sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time 817. The government says your workplace must be properly sanitized before your employees return to work. But how can you be sure your workplace passes the test? Call the professionals who can weigh. Can-Weigh Cleaning's disinfection services are proven to kill all viruses, including COVID-19.
I need something that'll flick that hook switch over and fucking over.
Can-Weigh, the most effective way to properly sanitize your workplace. Buy one disinfection service and receive another free. Go to CanWeighCleaning.com.
You can't see it here, but that's the sound of milk. And it's also the sound of a time machine bringing your great-grandma's recipe to 2020. It's the sound of your taste buds going around the world.
It will not hang up the phone on its own.
and even New England. It's in the chowder. It's at every birthday without needing an invitation, and on every grocery list without a second thought. It's the sound of every one-star chef and every five-star chef, and the sound of the snacks on a season-long sci-fi streaming binge. So with everything milk makes possible, what can't milk do?
6 City News time 8:18.
Police searching for suspects after 2 incidents of shots fired in the city last night. Officers called to Danforth and Greenwood Avenues just before midnight. Reports of a dispute between a driver and a cyclist. Police say multiple shots were fired. 3 men took off in a black Honda sedan. They were all wearing masks and armed with a chrome pistol, apparently. Around 10:45, gunshots were reported at Wellesley and Bleecker Streets, just east of Sherburne. Police say witnesses saw a group of people running away from the scene and vehicles leaving the area. No injuries reported in either incident. 680 News Time 8:19. Lockdowns lifting in Spain and Japan, while the number of new cases in Brazil has yet to peak. We continue our coverage of the
I knew somebody would come through. We can't have people talking about, yo, you'll get on your bike, we'll drive, we'll pretend to shoot it. Nah, we'll just shoot it there, you know. We gotta clear up this shitting on lawns.
More than 15,000 new COVID-19 cases yesterday, pushing its total to at least 363,000.
Not shitting on lawns, goddammit.
Have died.
Go shit somewhere where no one's gonna see you and leave. How the fuck? But you're not supposed to be leaving your house. If you're homeless, live in a hotel now. So don't give me this shit.
Continue to rise steadily, recording close to 9,000
new
cases to just over 353,000. In Spain, the
whatever homeless people were out there before weren't doing
in
this.
major cities like Madrid and Barcelona, which were slower to ease
social
lockdown measures compared to the rest of the country, you can now gather in groups of up to 10 people and go to restaurants and bars with outdoor patios. CNN's Al Goodman is in Madrid.
Now, just about half of the country is on this phase 1, which also allows some stores to be open, the smaller stores to be open. The other half of the country is on a more advanced level called phase 2, which allows for meeting of 15 people, seating at restaurants outdoors and indoors, shopping centers to stay open.
And Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has lifted the coronavirus state of emergency in Tokyo and 4 other remaining regions, ending the nationwide restrictions as businesses begin to reopen. Reporting live, Lauren
Yeah, you got that nuclear reactor meltdown.
8:20, the Trump administration announcing a ban on travel to the U.S. from Brazil because of the spread of COVID-19.
Oh, now you fuck.
Applies to non-U.S. citizens who have been in Brazil in the 14 days before they sought to travel to the U.S. According to Johns Hopkins, Brazil has more than 347,000 COVID cases, second behind the U.S. in the number of infections, and 22,000 deaths. President Trump has already banned travel from the United Kingdom, Europe, and China, all of which have been hard hit by the virus. I'm Julie Walker.
6 City News time 8:21.
Traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by Queensway Hyundai. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
Well, right now, volume not really an issue under major routes. Everything's sort of wrapped up in that department. So still not likely traveled, I would say. There's still quite a few vehicles out there, but we are dealing with some restrictions for construction. So we'll tell you about eastbound 407. A couple of left lanes are blocked from Dundas to Bronte for some paving until this evening.
I need to know the weather. Well, I don't need to, but I want to. Maybe I'll listen to it in French. I have to choose before I start, because once you start, you can't switch again. That's fucked up. And I want to see what the phone does if I just leave it. With that irritating beep, 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 I gotta find out. Because I'm not gonna give the payphone line anything different. Oh. Yeah, you taste different. Oh, it's the same mood. This was more purple, I guess. Not purple, dark. Just dark. Dark is good. I want some weed that's black. They got black bamboo. There's no black trilliums. There's no black weed. Yeah. What's this shit called? I got COVID. I got Black Trillium. I got Premier Minister. I got John Tory, fake mayor, step mayor of the city. He's not the real mayor. He's not a real mayor. No, you're not. Just because the real mayor died, that doesn't count. 1,000, 1,000. 2 seconds. Look at that color.
Welcome to Environment Canada's Weather Service. Bienvenue au service météorologique d'Environnement Canada. For service in English, press 1. Pour le service en français, faites le 2.
Pourquoi parler espagnol? Portugais.
Pour la ville de
Chinois.
Toronto, faites le 1.
Okay, where else, motherfucker?
Pour la prévision publique pour les 7 prochains jours, faites le 1. Pour les observations horaires, faites le 2.
I think we'll go with the forecast.
Prévision émise par Environnement Canada à 5 heures le lundi 25 mai pour aujourd'hui et mardi. Ville de Toronto pour aujourd'hui ensoleillé avec passage nuageux. Maximum 29 sauf 24 près du lac Ontario. Un indice humidex 36 sauf 30 près du lac Ontario. L'indice ultraviolet de 9 ou très élevé. Pour ce soir et cette nuit, quelques nuages. Minimum 19.
Quelques quoi, like 1 or 2?
Ensoleillé le matin et tôt en après-midi. Devenant alternance de soleil et de nuages avec 30% de probabilité d'averse en après-midi. Risque d'un orage en après-midi. Maximum 30 sauf 24 près du lac Ontario. Un indice humidex 38 sauf 31 près du lac Ontario. L'indice ultraviolet de 9 ou très élevé. Prévision à long terme mardi soir. Dégagé. Minimum 18. Pour mercredi, alternance de soleil et de nuages avec 30% de probabilité d'averse. Maximum 32 mercredi soir. Nuageux avec 30% de probabilité d'averse. Minimum 17. Pour jeudi, nuageux avec 60% de probabilité d'averse. Maximum 25 jeudi soir. Nuageux avec 40% de probabilité d'averse. Minimum 16. Pour vendredi, alternance de soleil et de nuages. Maximum 25 vendredi soir. Passage nuageux. Minimum 10. Pour samedi, alternance de soleil et de nuages. Maximum 21 samedi soir. Dégagé. Minimum 9. Pour dimanche, alternance de soleil et de nuages. Maximum 22. Normal pour la période. Minimum 11. Maximum 21.
Pour la prévision publique pour les 7 prochains jours, faites le 1.
I want you to hang up.
Pour les observations horaires, faites le 2. Pour l'information sur la cote Air Santé, faites le 3. Pour l'information sur nos services, faites le 8. Pour nous rejoindre, faites le 9. Pour retourner au menu précédent en tout temps, faites étoiles.
Mauvaise touche.
Pour la
What an
prévision
accusation.
publique pour les 7 prochains jours, faites le 1. Pour les observations horaires,
Wow.
faites le 2.
Your equipment just accused me of
Pour
touching it in a bad way.
l'information sur la cote Air Santé,
I didn't hit your
faites le
equipment, I
3.
had my equipment. Wow.
Pour
See, what you talk about the
l'information sur
computers
nos
ganging up on
services,
us. They talk.
faites le 8.
Especially the telephones.
Pour nous rejoindre, faites le 9. Pour retourner au menu précédent en tout temps, faites étoiles.
Merci d'avoir consulté les services météorologiques d'Environnement Canada.
Okay, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. This is, I want to see what it does if it's left off. I need to find out what happens around here.
Is trying for a second straight winning day. Although gold right now is down $8, $17.45.
Oil is higher by 25 cents, 33.51 a barrel. And the Canadian dollar is up by 6/100, 71.51 cents U.S. Now, stateside, markets are closed for Memorial Day. Having said that, we do have Dow futures up by 226, S&P futures up by 27, and overseas, a positive tone in Europe as well. The CAC 40 right now up by 1.3%. The DAX is higher by 2%. And just a reminder, tomorrow in the U.S., the New York Stock Exchange will welcome a subset of traders to the floor. The floor, of course, was closed on March 23rd in response to the pandemic. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News. Infinity of Willowdale understands that some of their customers have been impacted as a result of the pandemic. Because of COVID-19, Infinity of Willowdale is proud to present the Infinity Privilege Program. Current and future Infinity drivers are eligible for payment relief of up to 3 lease payments plus 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance or 0% up to 72 months financing option. They also offer a contactless test drive experience for comfort and peace of mind. Focus on what matters most right now. For more details, visit infinityofwillowdale.com.
Hey, Tim. Yes, sir. Our show is back on TV and radio, which has me thinking, can I still work in my track pants? I don't see why not. Okay, good. What about showering? Do I need to shower? All you need to worry about is entertaining the people. A breath of fresh air, is what might say. Finally, I can at least work in peace and quiet at home. You still have to talk to me. See you, Monsieur. Let's go on TV and radio. Weekdays at 5 p.m. Watch on Sportsnet 360 and stream through the Sportsnet app. Our meteorologist Jill Taylor's latest forecast calling for a hot, humid week. For today, sun and cloud and a high of 29 with a humidex near 34. Right now, we're at 19 degrees with sunshine in downtown Toronto and a humidex at 27. 680 News Time, 8:30.
Better fucking check that website right now.
News in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Paul Cook and Catherine Chattay. Good morning. It's Monday, May 25th.
Here's what's making news right now.
If you want to test for COVID-19, the Premier says go ahead and get one.
Just show up to a testing center.
Doug Ford says expanding testing is part of Ontario's new strategy to target the spread of the virus.
Tory says he's sorry.
He's just like any other human. We should cut him some slack.
Toronto's mayor is caught not practicing proper physical distancing while visiting a packed West End park to check out the crowd.
A Toronto-based researcher, among the first to predict the deadly spread of this virus, is calling for changes to the way the world monitors and reacts to outbreaks, especially with the threat of a second wave.
The future of parliamentary sittings during the COVID-19 pandemic will be the focus of fierce political debate today as MPs return to the House of Commons.
The Match Championship charity living up to the hype. Tiger Woods and teammate Peyton Manning calling out Phil and Brady. Sports at 45.
Bay Street trying for back-to-back wins. There will be a change at the top for one Canadian energy company, and U.S. markets are closed today. Business at 56.
680 News Time, 8:31.
Time for 680 News. Traffic and weather together on the ones for Eagles Nest Golf Club. Here's Zach Bodu's team.
Well, it looks like that morning rush, so to speak, has sort of died down. So we're not dealing with volume, but we do have construction, which would be affecting your drive this morning. Eastbound 407, 2 left lanes blocked from Dundas to Bronte. We've also got road work restricting the West Mall Evans ramp to the westbound QEW until Wednesday morning, and the westbound QEW itself left lane blocked off at Winston Churchill, meaning the 401, DVP 404. Those are all in solid shape in all directions. Meantime, Bathurst is closed from Fort York to Front for some bridge repairs, and the whole intersection of Church and Richmond, that's shut down until the end of June. Experience golf in its purest form. Your score is only half the story. Embrace the challenge at the #1 public golf course in the GTA, Eagles Nest. Visit eaglesnestgolf.com. With the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
Hot, hazy, humid for us today. Just a slight chance of some wet weather. Right now, it's rather hazy. 22 at Pearson. Feels like 29. It's cooler near the lake. It's 16 and sunny at 680 News. The guaranteed high today, 29. Feeling like 34. Sorry, Paul, had to add that. Yeah, it's a hot one.
It's a lot of hot. 680 News Time, 8:32.
It's a major shift in the province's approach to testing for COVID-19. Premier Ford says mass testing is the province's best defense against the virus, and is promising a new detailed strategy this week, which is the 11th under pandemic emergency measures.
Our Kevin Meisner joins us live now from Queen's Park with the latest messaging on whom should get tested. Kevin.
Yeah, Paul, Premier Doug Ford is essentially throwing the doors to Ontario's 129 COVID-19 assessment centers wide open. He says anyone worried about possible exposure to the virus, even if they don't have any symptoms, can get tested if they want.
Go get a test. You will not be turned away. You don't need an appointment. Just show up to a testing center.
Ontario has the capacity to do 25,000 tests per day, recently only averaging about 11,000. The Premier says ramped up testing is Ontario's best defense against possible spread of COVID-19.
Our assessment centers are ready to receive you. And the only way we can get those testing numbers up, the only way we can get those numbers where they need to be, is for everyone who feels they need it to get a test.
The province's new testing strategy aims to better identify where the virus is spreading within the community. Right now, that's kind of a question mark. The Globe and Mail reports that testing will focus on asymptomatic people in high-risk groups, including first responders, cab drivers, workers in meatpacking and auto plants, as well as school-age children. There are 460 new confirmed cases in Ontario as of Sunday. That pushes our province's total to 25,500, with 2,073 deaths. At Queen's Park, Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
680 News Time, 8:34. Mayor Tory is apologizing after he was photographed breaking physical distancing rules at a packed Trinity Bellwoods Park this weekend. 680's Carl Hansky is at the park in the West Queen West area and joins us with more.
Thousands of people packed Trinity Bellwoods Park here on the sunny Saturday. Residents say most of them were not practicing physical distancing.
I saw crowds of people sitting right next to each other, having drinks, sharing drinks.
The COVID-19 situation is not over yet, so they should be more responsible.
Mayor Tory came to check out the crowd, and even he was photographed standing very close to people wearing his mask down around his neck. But this park goer is willing to forgive Tory's physical distancing faux pas.
It was so packed that it's kind of difficult to do so.
Tory has apologized for his behavior, saying, quote, "I fully intended to properly physical distance, but it was very difficult to do. I wore a mask to the park, but failed to use it properly. Another thing I'm disappointed about." At Trinity Bellwoods Park, I'm Carl Hansky.
680 News Time, 8:35. Heat and humidity will be dominating the forecast this week. 680's Alex Bloomfield's here live with the story and reaction from our latest weather guarantee winner. Alex.
Well, Paul, let's start with this week. What a forecast we have in store after what's been a pretty cool spring, to say the least. Finally, highs in the high 20s to low 30s expected. There's a downside. Our meteorologist, Jill Taylor.
Just heads up for the possibility of showers and thunderstorms almost every day this week. We had some early morning showers and thunderstorms. For the most part, we'll have sun and cloud through the day, and then a little bit higher chance of showers and thunderstorms through the evening and for tomorrow.
Now, with weather this unstable, it is a good time to get in on our weather guarantee jackpot. In fact, we just gave one away about an hour ago. Maria Young of Newmarket, $3,100 richer.
I'm surprised.
Now, Maria, she deserves this. Let's just say that. Here's my conversation with her.
Oh, for a long time, like more than 30 years.
Wow. So do you have any idea when you joined the Insider Club to first take part in the contest?
Oh, I guess when it started, you joined the club thing. I don't know how long ago.
A day oneer, listening to 680 News for some 3 decades, taking home our latest weather guarantee jackpot. So congratulations, Maria, for your chance to win our next jackpot. Whenever that heat gets the better of our weather experts, you can enter for your chance to win at 680news.com. Reporting live, I'm Alex Bloomfield.
680 News Time, 8:37. A charity in Parkdale is buying a heritage building and turning it into affordable housing units. 680's business editor Chris McCusker has the details. Victor Willis, the executive director of the Parkdale Activity Recreation Center Toronto, paid $7.2 million to acquire 1501 Queen Street. The building has 38 rental units inside, and Willis says this should offer secure, stable housing for the nearly 40 existing tenants. The organization now owns 4 buildings and operates more than 100 affordable housing units for residents who live with poverty, mental health, and addiction issues. And the couple who own the buildings said they decided to sell to liquidate some of their holdings, adding that selling to a charity was the right thing to do. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
680 News Time, 8:38. A University of Toronto researcher is calling for change in the way the world monitors and reacts to future disease outbreaks. 680's Jamie Pulper has the story.
The goal is to monitor diseases around the world in real time, and that's what the pandemic predicting software of Blue Dot is able to do. Scouring the world for outbreaks, and it was among the first to sound the alarm about COVID-19 out of Wuhan, China. Blue Dot founder and CEO Dr. Carmen Khan recently telling 60 Minutes a big part of that included analyzing ticket information from thousands of airports to figure out where the virus was going next.
We can analyze and visualize all this information across the globe in just a few seconds.
Dr. Khan spent a year persuading airlines to share flight information in the name of public health, something that's never happened before. All part of the information needed to change the way we deal with outbreaks. Right now, Dr. Khan says it takes too long, and that's concerning, especially with the threat of a second wave of the virus looming. I'm Jamie Pulper.
680 News Time, 8:39. A limited number of MPs returning to the House of Commons today to debate the best way to hold sittings of Parliament while respecting health advice. 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney.
We must start meeting in person.
That's Conservative leader Andrew Scheer, who will continue his push to fully resume regular sittings of the House by putting forward a motion declaring Parliament an essential service. But the Trudeau government has a different plan in mind. The Liberals have their own motion to continue and expand the special COVID-19 committee sittings that have been taking place for several weeks. The proposal is each week MPs will meet twice virtually, once in person and once in a hybrid meeting. There will also be 4 regular sittings in the summer. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is confident the parties will come to an agreement.
Demonstrate that our democracy is strong and our institutions are functioning.
The NDP says it will support the Liberals, but only if the government agrees to a plan for paid sick leave and supports for disabled Canadians through the pandemic. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time, 8:39. You're with Toronto's only all-news radio, 680 News. Well, the Washington Nationals have unveiled their World Series rings. The usual touches are there, along with one more surprise, as we hear from our Simon Bennett, another level to the phenomenon that is Baby Shark.
Championship rings are typically stunning, and this is no exception. Custom-cut rubies make the Nationals logo on the front, surrounded by diamonds and sapphires, DC landmarks on one side, the World Series trophy on the other, and on the inside, yes?
C'est très difficile. Il y a tout un renforcement des choses. Vous voyez, les enfants d'ouvriers, les parents n'ont pas été forcément à l'école. C'est assez difficile que les parents fournissent de la méthode aux enfants. Et là, c'est exactement la discussion qu'on a sur les devoirs, quoi, hein. Les devoirs à la maison, c'est exactement le même problème. C'est pour ça qu'il y a beaucoup d'enseignants qui ne sont pas pour les devoirs à la maison, parce que ça bascule la responsabilité de développement des métacompétences du côté des parents. Et tout le monde n'est pas équipé pareil pour ça.
Oui. Pensez-vous que la pandémie va changer la perception des gens face à l'enseignement en ligne, à l'école, à la maison? Parce que c'était plutôt marginal avant, surtout lorsqu'on parle des enfants d'âge élémentaire et secondaire. Bon, bien sûr, maintenant au collégial, à l'université, c'est de plus en plus fréquent, là. Mais pour les petits, pensez-vous que cette pandémie-là est en train de changer la perception que les gens ont de ces possibilités, justement, d'enseignement en ligne?
Peut-être un peu, ça va révéler quelques enseignants. Il y a de très belles expériences, les enseignants sont très créatifs. Et donc, on assiste à des surgissements d'expériences super intéressantes. Donc, ça peut aider les enseignants à passer en ligne. Il faut voir ça dans un grand portrait. C'est-à-dire que l'enseignement en ligne, ou l'Internet, en fait, c'est comme une grande bibliothèque, mais ça a peut-être 30 ans. Vous voyez, ça a 30 ans. Alors que l'école, elle est basée sur le livre, et le livre, il a plus de 3000 ans. Donc, on est vraiment hors pandémie, on est déjà aux prémices de quelque chose. Alors, vous avez des enseignants qui ne veulent pas aller sur Internet. Je ne parle pas de l'élémentaire, là. Je parle plutôt là où on enseigne plus de matières, et tout ça, au secondaire et à l'université. Donc, ils ne veulent pas forcément aller en ligne. Et en ligne, c'est quand même un accès à des ressources et à des expertises incroyables. Donc, c'est quand même une opportunité. Vous voyez, c'est comme si on voulait enseigner en dehors de la bibliothèque. On disait, ah, je veux bien enseigner, mais j'ai interdit la bibliothèque. Non, il faut aller dans la bibliothèque générale qui est Internet aujourd'hui. Et donc, on est en train de passer à quelque chose d'autre. C'est probable, au sens général. Maintenant, vers où on va, ça c'est beaucoup plus compliqué là, pour savoir, parce que ça va changer les relations des formations en ligne. Mais vous voyez, nos générations, elles opposent souvent le en ligne et le présent. Et en fait, c'est la même chose. Et les jeunes aujourd'hui, il n'y a pas vraiment ça. Ils veulent les deux de toute façon. Hein.
Oui, c'est complémentaire.
C'est complètement complémentaire. Et puis, plus vous êtes en ligne, plus vous voyez de gens, plus vous êtes susceptible de voir des gens en vrai. Puisque vous les rencontrez, que vous les rencontriez en ligne ou en face à face, vous perdez plus de liens. Donc, les relations se font beaucoup plus. Maintenant, la pandémie va aussi changer nos relations en face à face. C'est ça qui va changer beaucoup.
Oui, bien sûr, parce que même lorsque l'école reprendra, ce ne sera pas le retour à la normale comme ce qu'on connaissait avant la pandémie.
Et ça, c'est beaucoup plus perturbant. Vous voyez, si on commence à mettre des distances entre les enfants, pas jouer ensemble, alors, plus on va vers les petits, plus c'est complexe. Parce qu'ils ont besoin de câlins, des fois, quand ils tombent ou comme ça. Et donc, les distances sociales vont être transformées sur le point de vue de la présence. Et donc, ça rééquilibre quelque part avec la distance, mais je ne sais pas comment exactement. Ils sont déjà beaucoup à distance, les jeunes, aujourd'hui. Sur les réseaux et les choses comme ça.
Emmanuel, ça, c'est tout le temps que nous avons, mais c'est vraiment fascinant. Je suis certaine qu'on pourra poursuivre cette conversation plus tard, justement, lorsqu'on saura quand l'école recommencera en personne. Merci beaucoup d'avoir été avec nous.
Merci à vous.
Emmanuel Duclair, qui est professeur agrégé en technologie éducative, vice-doyen des programmes de la Faculté d'éducation de l'Université d'Ottawa. Météo, c'est chaud. Ça sera tout un défi aujourd'hui pour ceux, justement, qui doivent installer les enfants devant l'écran d'ordinateur et les inciter à faire leurs devoirs ou à faire leur cours parce qu'il va vraiment faire beau. Ce sera généralement ensoleillé. Maximum 29, température ressentie 36. En ce moment, il fait 22, température ressentie 29. Vous avez des suggestions pour nous? Une très bonne suggestion, Francine, d'une lecture d'été qui sera, ma foi, pas intéressante, je crois. C'est l'auteur franco-ontarien Jean Boisjoli, qui est finaliste au prix Trivium 2020. Vous lui avez parlé, entre autres, de la période particulière qu'on vit en ce moment.
Oui, parce que la période actuelle est spéciale, même pour les écrivains qui ont l'habitude de travailler solitaire à la maison. Mais avant de parler de cette période, j'ai voulu savoir pourquoi le personnage du psychiatre dans le roman Moi, Sam et Janice, qui est donc en finale des prix Trivium, on trouve dans le prologue une citation d'Albert Camus et aussi, à la fin du roman, une mention des travaux du neuropsychiatre Boris Cyrulnik.
Que je dis aux gens, c'est un jour à la fois et un signe à la fois. Je dis toujours, on est mieux d'en faire 3, 4 que de jamais en faire, parce que techniquement, dans les faits, on est parents, éducateurs ou professionnels pour le restant de notre vie. Donc, ce qui est important, c'est pas de trop s'en mettre sur les épaules. Mais
allô?
Je pense qu'on n'a pas le bon extrait parce qu'on s'attendait à entendre M. Boisjoli.
Non, on s'attendait à entendre Jean Boisjoli.
Est-ce qu'on a l'extrait de Jean Boisjoli? On m'a dit qu'on est sur le point de l'avoir, Francine.
Donc, on va l'entendre parler. Pourquoi est-ce qu'il a utilisé une citation d'Albert Camus et il a remercié le neuropsychiatre Boris Cyrulnik à la fin du roman.
Camus, c'est mes lectures de jeunesse. Camus, Kafka, Dostoïevski, dans ma jeune adolescence, c'est ce que je disais. Cyrulnik, j'y crois beaucoup et j'ai lu beaucoup de Cyrulnik, à peu près tout, pour ce roman. Cyrulnik qui va dire que le trauma de jeunesse suit toute notre vie. Vous savez, un enfant peut subir un trauma physique au cerveau alors même qu'il est dans le sein de sa maman. Sans blessure physique, sans qu'on laisse rapide. C'est sérieux, ça. Donc, les blessures de diabète et de faim les suivent toute leur vie. Ils sont ce qu'on appelle des coquilles de la vie à cause de ça. D'ailleurs, j'ai beaucoup lu aussi du Dr Gabor Maté, qui est un médecin de Vancouver spécialisé dans les tourments et la dépendance, quelle qu'elle soit, mais surtout aux narcotiques et à l'alcool, aux drogues. Il a traité des milliers de personnes dans le quartier du downtown Eastside à Vancouver. Et il a dit que parmi ces milliers de personnes-là qui couchent dans la rue, qui sont dépendantes, il n'y en a pas eu une seule de ces personnes-là qui n'avait pas subi un traumatisme de jeunesse.
Je vais revenir à Cyronique parce que justement, Boris Cyronique s'est exprimé récemment sur notre monde d'après-confinement et d'après lui, on aura le choix entre vivre mieux ou subir une dictature. Vous voyez comment ce monde d'après-confinement?
Je sais pas. Chose certaine, parfois je m'inquiète. Je souhaite vraiment que l'on apprenne de cette pandémie, que ce soit l'épigraphe vraiment pour nous de repenser notre vie. Est-ce que ça sera fait? Je ne le sais pas. Est-ce que l'humain apprend des erreurs du passé? Je ne le sais pas. Mais c'est ça qui m'inquiète le plus.
Et vous, pendant la période actuelle, qu'est-ce que vous faites pour rester sain d'esprit, disons?
Serein. Écoutez, je lis, je tente de me garder en forme, je fais beaucoup de marches. Bon, je suis rendu à 12 km par jour, là, et c'est de la méditation pour moi. Je lis, je ne parviens à peu près pas à écrire, je lis des choses légères, beaucoup de romans policiers parce que ça m'aère l'esprit. J'ai 2 filles, dont une qui habite Gatineau que je n'ai pas vue depuis 2 mois parce qu'elle habite au Québec, moi en Ontario. Et bon, mon autre fille, j'ai une petite fille de 5 ans, je la vois, mais en gardant la distanciation physique. Vous savez, ça change, hein? Il fallait lui expliquer pourquoi papy arrivait avec un masque. C'est ça, hein? J'aide aussi dans des comités bénévoles.
Si on parle du prix Trillium, ça va être attribué virtuellement le 17 juin. Est-ce que le côté physique de la remise des prix va vous manquer?
Oui. Oh oui, c'était merveilleux. C'était merveilleux, la cérémonie en 2017. Et vous savez, la première chose qui m'a frappé, moi, lorsque j'y suis allé, premièrement, c'était une cérémonie de 2 jours. Le premier soir, il y avait lecture des textes. Deuxième soir, la remise du prix. Ce qui m'a frappé, c'est que nous, en tant que francophones, nous étions sur un pied d'égalité avec les anglophones.
Oui.
Et ça m'a agréablement surpris. De façon virtuelle, bien écoutez, oui, ça m'a manqué de voir la collégialité avec des collègues francophones, anglophones, avec des gens d'Ontario créatifs. Mais bon, il faut s'y faire, hein, le monde est-ce qu'il évolue? En tout cas, le monde change.
Oui. Et si vous devez résumer la période actuelle, si vous devez résumer ce qu'elle vous a apporté, ce qu'elle va laisser dans vos bagages, qu'est-ce que vous diriez?
Je souhaite que la période de pandémie m'aura permis de revenir à moi-même, à mes proches, de façon plus ordonnée, pas qu'elle a été désordonnée, mais de façon plus consciente, en fait, d'être avec mes proches, avec moi-même aussi. Vous savez, de laver les mains le matin. Vous savez, en fait, le matin, toute la journée, 20-30 secondes presque, c'est pour moi devenu un moment de méditation. Je ferme les yeux et je me lave les mains. Je m'arrête. Et je souhaite que ce moment-ci me permette de m'arrêter plus souvent.
C'était donc Jean Boisjoli, auteur du roman Moassam El Jamis, en lice pour les prix Trillium 2020, qui seront remis donc de façon virtuelle le 17 juin prochain. Et demain, je vais rencontrer virtuellement aussi un autre des finalistes, Paul Ruban, en lice pour son recueil de nouvelles Crevaison en corbillard.
Oui, tous les romans, les livres qui sont en liste pour les prix Trillium, c'est une belle liste de lecture, ça, pour l'été, parce qu'on va avoir besoin de bonnes suggestions de lecture, de bons romans, et c'est encore mieux si c'est de la production locale. Merci beaucoup, Francine Ravel.
À demain.
À bientôt. Il est déjà 8h51. On achève l'émission, mais Elvis, parlez-nous de lutte contre les changements climatiques maintenant, parce que c'est un sujet, ça, dont il est un petit peu moins question ces derniers temps, mais ça ne veut pas dire que c'est moins important pour autant.
Oui, effectivement, Marjorie, les choses sont concrètes. Hein. En fait, pour comprendre la situation, il faut se dire que quand un danger imminent est proche de nous, comme le coronavirus, on a le sentiment que c'est plus incarné. Chaque jour, on est informé des mises à jour. On sait comment la situation évolue dans le monde. On sait qu'énormément de personnes décèdent, ce qui fait un mal presque palpable par rapport au réchauffement de la planète dont il a beaucoup été question, mais qui concerne notre avenir proche ou lointain, mais tout de même l'avenir. Et donc, c'est la raison pour laquelle l'année dernière, par exemple, on a eu une mobilisation qui était globale dans le monde. Mais depuis le début de la crise liée au coronavirus, les gouvernements se focalisent avant tout sur le problème immédiat, c'est-à-dire le coronavirus. C'est tout à fait compréhensible.
Et on a vu beaucoup dans les dernières années, surtout l'an dernier, tous les organismes liés justement à la lutte au changement climatique qui sortaient dans la rue. Il y a eu des marches assez importantes en 2019 ici au pays. Ces organismes-là, évidemment, ne peuvent plus faire de marches comme c'était le cas avant, mais ça ne veut pas dire pour autant qu'ils ne sont pas mobilisés, qu'ils ne continuent pas leurs efforts.
Effectivement, il reste mobilisé, Marjorie. C'est le cas, par exemple, de Climate Justice Toronto, un organisme qui se bat justement pour plus de solidarité dans la lutte contre les changements climatiques. Il faut savoir, Marjorie, que pour ces gens, une crise comme celle que nous vivons révèle de manière plus crue encore les inégalités que nous vivons, puisque tous les pays où toutes les populations ne sont pas égales devant la maladie, les populations les plus défavorisées sont souvent les plus vulnérables. Je regardais hier, tout le monde en parle, et en fin d'émission, un avocat montréalais indiquait que dans certains quartiers défavorisés de Montréal, la promiscuité et le difficile accès à des connexions Internet ou du matériel informatique faisait que certaines populations n'étaient pas toujours informées de tous les programmes mis en place par les gouvernements, et que même quand c'était le cas, il n'était pas toujours techniquement possible pour ces populations-là de faire toutes les demandes. Donc c'est en fait ce genre de démarche-là qui essaye de mettre de l'avant un Climate Justice Toronto, qui pense que la crise climatique est un problème global, systémique, tentaculaire, et c'est la raison pour laquelle l'organisme parle souvent, je voulais dire, des conséquences de la crise, comme l'a expliqué Daphna Dugovic, qui est membre de cet organisme et qui me parlait des raisons pour lesquelles elle s'y est engagée. On écoute Daphna.
Ça m'intéressait beaucoup parce que on parlait de la crise climatique et d'une façon plus exceptionnelle. Parce que pour moi, je n'aimais pas avant, normalement, quand on parle de l'environnement, c'est que c'est un espace très réservé pour certains gens. Tandis qu'ici, on parlait encore des droits des autochtones, on parlait des droits des migrants, on parle du racisme, et tout ça comme un mélange avec pour former la crise climatique.
Voilà, on écoutait là donc Daphna Dugovic, qui, je le rappelle, est membre de Climate Justice Toronto. Alors certes, il n'est pas possible pour les membres du groupe de se réunir physiquement comme ils le faisaient il y a quelques semaines encore, mais cela n'empêche pas de s'engager, puisque la lutte pour plus de justice climatique peut se faire également via Internet. Et d'ailleurs, Daphna s'inquiète que la crise actuelle ait un impact, finisse par impacter le système de transport. On sait que moins de personnes prenaient la voiture pour se rendre au travail en raison du confinement, mais ce qu'il faut aussi savoir, c'est que moins de personnes prenaient les transports en commun, ce qui peut aboutir à une réduction des lignes de bus ou de métro ou rendre le transport en commun plus cher. Bon, bien sûr, là, on est encore dans des conjectures, mais c'est le genre de choses qui fait peur à ces organismes-là qui luttent contre les changements climatiques, et donc qui pensent qu'il faut une vision systémique et globale de cette crise contre le coronavirus, qui pourrait finir par avoir un impact même sur la crise contre les changements climatiques. Je le disais, Marjorie, ces gens continuent néanmoins à se réunir via les plateformes en ligne telles que Zoom et travaillent pour collecter de l'argent qui est ensuite reversé à des organismes qui s'occupent des travailleurs qui sont notamment en première ligne, ou encore qui s'occupent des sans-abri.
Intéressant tout ça. Merci beaucoup, Elvis. Merci, à bientôt.
À demain, Marjorie.
Au revoir. Il est 8h56 déjà. L'émission tire à sa fin. Annie Poulain à la salle des nouvelles. Grosse journée, probablement encore aujourd'hui. L'actualité ne dérougit pas, comme on dit. Vous allez faire un suivi, entre autres, à la salle des nouvelles sur ce rassemblement qui a eu lieu au parc Trinity Bellwoods à Toronto samedi. Ce sont en fait plusieurs petits rassemblements. Il n'y a pas une une organisation qui a dit aux gens de venir en masse à Trinity Bellwoods, mais les gens spontanément se sont regroupés là et ne respectaient pas la distanciation sociale, les 2 mètres qu'on doit conserver entre nous et les gens qui ne vivent pas sous le même toit. Et donc, vous allez faire un suivi, Annie, à la salle des nouvelles sur cette histoire de Trinity Bellwoods.
Oui, parce que le parc était bondé et bon, d'abord, il y a le maire de Toronto, John Tory, qui a présenté ses excuses hier pour ne pas avoir porté le masque correctement alors qu'il était sur place. Il a expliqué qu'il était là samedi pour comprendre pourquoi il y avait tant de gens qui étaient au parc. Et aujourd'hui, on va revenir sur tout ça et aussi s'intéresser aux solutions que la Ville pourrait mettre en place pour permettre aux gens de fréquenter les parcs en grand nombre tout en respectant la distanciation physique.
Oui, d'ailleurs, si vous voulez voir la photo à la maison du maire Tory, cette fameuse photo qu'il a un peu mis dans l'embarras, on le voit parler à des gens avec son masque qui est descendu sous le menton. Ben, c'est sur radiocanada.ca/Toronto, bien sûr. Vous surveillez aussi aujourd'hui, évidemment, le bilan de la province sur le nombre de cas de COVID-19 parce que hier encore, le nombre de cas augmentait. On était rendu à 460 hier.
Voilà, et c'était la 5e fois dans la même semaine que la hausse se situait au-dessus de la barre des 400. Donc, c'est un bilan qu'on continue de suivre à la salle des nouvelles et on surveille également le nombre de tests de dépistage quotidien.
Oui, ce sera bien sûr ça au cœur de la stratégie du gouvernement Ford. On a vu hier cette annonce de Doug Ford qui dit aux Ontariens maintenant, allez vous faire tester. Il n'y a personne qui sera refusé si vous avez l'impression que vous avez été en contact avec quelqu'un qui était infecté par le coronavirus. Alors oui, une stratégie qui change. Il y aura d'ailleurs aussi cette semaine plus de détails sur la stratégie du gouvernement sur les tests. Alors ça, c'est à suivre. Ce sera certainement l'un des grands sujets d'actualité cette semaine, ce changement finalement du côté de la stratégie du gouvernement ontarien pour ce qui est des tests, parce qu'on veut savoir quel est le pourcentage de la population, entre autres, qui est asymptomatique. On avait, qui est asymptomatique, mais qui est infecté, bien sûr, par le coronavirus. On a vu cette semaine, ou la semaine dernière, plutôt, Doug Ford qui disait qu'il pouvait créer des alliances, notamment avec l'Association des camionneurs pour tester massivement des gens qui ne présentent pas nécessairement de symptômes. Ici, Marjolie April, je suis heureuse d'avoir été avec vous ce matin, en ce lundi matin. Demain, c'est Claudia Hébert qui reprend les rênes de l'émission. Moi, je vous reviens mercredi en cette chaude semaine, une semaine très estivale. Il n'y a pas 2 matins pareils. Allez, portez-vous bien, profitez du soleil.
Dynamique, diversifiée et surprenante. L'heure de pointe est à l'image de Toronto et du sud de la province. En semaine dès 15h avec Alison Dicrobec.
I know, the moment is a diagnostic unit. We're not putting a brand new functional unit in the location.
Plus on est fou, plus on lit.
Ici Marie-Louise Arsenault. Au club de lecture, on commente La Sentence, le nouveau roman de John Grisham. À cet après-midi sur Ici Première.
You don't want to diagnose this shit up.
Vous écoutez ici Radio-Canada Première. Au 860 AM, à Toronto. Du cœur aux idées.
Oh, you just don't do nothing important past that, but nothing to see. What's important? Quelle est l'important? C'est la vie. Fuck you.
Les règles de distanciation physique dans une foule à l'extérieur.
You will not be turned away. It's a major change in strategy. The Premier says ramping up testing is the province's best defense against the virus. Mayor Tory was among those seen not practicing physical distancing at a packed park on a sunny Saturday afternoon. He has now apologized.
The Toronto-based researcher behind the pandemic predicting software Blue Dot, one of the first to warn about the threat of COVID-19.
I suppose you could be taking a shit on the lawn right now on your iPhone while watching this idiot in Toronto.
Mid-30s and a chance of thunderstorms nearly every afternoon. Yes, summer weather has arrived for the last week of May.
The NBA and NHL apparently making progress over the weekend en route to a potential return. One of them, Major League Baseball, Sports 15.
The European
European markets mostly higher, with U.S. markets closed for Memorial Day, and Bay Street is trying for a second winning session. Business at 26. 6 City News Time 9:01.
Traffic and weather together on the ones, brought to you by Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
Well, Paul, it's only one problem on the drive, and it's not causing a delay. Westbound 401 approaching Kiel in the collectors, left lanes blocked off, and as I mentioned, things still moving up to speed through this space. Beyond that, not much doing, but before it, you're finding a bit of a slowdown through Leslie in the Express. Meantime, eastbound 407 construction, 2 left lanes taken out for paving, Dundas to Bronte, North Bronte ramp to East 407 closed for that road work. Eastbound 401 still a really nice drive, headed all the way across the city. Finding a pretty smooth one as well on the DVP 404. Gardner looks good in both directions. Just watch out. West 11's ramp to the west QEW is all shut down for some road work. Bergmanis Prera Personal Injury Lawyers thanks to our frontline workers and all of you who have made a contribution in the fight against COVID-19. They're proud to stand by your side during these challenging times and will always be here to support you. Visit them at bplawyers.ca with your Monday forecast. Jill Taylor.
Well, we've got summer-like heat and humidity today, just a slight chance of some wet weather. Right now already feels like 29 with the humidity. We've got rather hazy conditions, 22 at Pearson, 16 at Sunny at 680 News. The guaranteed high 29, feeling like 34.
It's underneath.
680 News Time 9:02.
Week 11 now under pandemic restrictions, but even as emergency measures are slowly relaxed, this province appears to have hit a wall in containing community spread of COVID-19, prompting a pivot from the Premier on testing protocol.
680's Kevin Meisner joins us live from Queen's Park with a closer look at the new messaging from the Ford government. Kevin.
Yeah, Catherine, Premier Doug Ford has been promising ramped up COVID-19 testing in Ontario for weeks now, but still, Ontario is falling well below the daily capacity of 25,000 tests, averaging about 11,000 in recent days. Ford made a solo address over the weekend, not appearing with his public health officials or Minister of Health, to urge anyone who wants a test to go out and get one.
Testing is one of the best defenses against the spread of this virus.
The Premier says Ontario's 129 assessment centres across the province are ready to receive anyone.
Go get a test. You will not be turned away.
October 2015. Thanks. Where the fuck did I find this?
To a testing center, and they will test you, no matter if you're showing symptoms or you aren't showing symptoms, and bring your family along with you to get tested.
This is a significant shift from earlier messaging that testing was reserved for people displaying symptoms or frontline healthcare staff. There had been reports of people being turned away, even if they said they had symptoms. The Globe and Mail reports the province plans to test people without symptoms in high-risk groups, including first responders, workers in meatpacking and auto plants, school-aged children, and taxi drivers in an effort to identify exactly where the virus is spreading within the community. After slowing somewhat, new COVID-19 cases are trending upward again in Ontario. There have been 25,500 confirmed cases in the province. There have been 2,073 deaths. At Queen's Park, Kevin Meisner, 680 News.
680 News Time 9:04. In the wake of the Trinity Bellwoods Park fiasco, Mayor Tory apologizing for his missteps during his appearance there to view the spectacle firsthand. 680's Carl Hansky is at the popular Queen Street West Park with the story and reaction.
It was among the thousands packed into Trinity Bellwoods Park here on a sunny Saturday afternoon where Mayor Tory was photographed standing very close to people with his mask tied down around his neck. But I'm finding most park goers this morning are willing to forgive Tory and his social distancing snafu.
Yeah, he was only at the he was probably hyperventilating. He was stunned at you assholes.
And those who were here say with
look at them all. They're just crowding. Those people fucking drinking. Is that what it was costing?
Having drinks.
Sir, somebody's taking a shit on a lawn. What? I can't imagine what's going through his head. Oh, he won't emote like that.
Tory has apologized for his behavior, saying, as a leader in this city, I know that I must set a better example going forward.
You are Canadian, man. I don't know if you're Torontonian. You don't act like it.
680 News Time 9:05. The last week of May is going to feel a lot like an average first week of August. 680's Alex Bloomfield is here with the story. Alex.
Catherine, midsummer heat and afternoon instability. Today's guaranteed high 29 degrees, but our meteorologist Jill Taylor says it will feel much hotter than that.
We can see our first 30-degree days, 30-plus degree days this week, and of course the humid pushing into the high 30s. So quite the stretch with that heat and humidity, of course, comes some instability, and we've got the possibility of showers and thunderstorms pretty much every day this week.
You're going to feel close to 38 come Wednesday. Meantime, the warm weather over the weekend causing us to miss our weather guarantee Sunday. And that made Maria Young of Newmarket our winner this morning of a $3,100 jackpot. And let's just say, Maria, she's been listening to 680 News for a long time.
Oh, quite a long time, like more than 30 years.
An Insider Club member in the first year we launched the contest. You can head to 680news.com to become a member and enter for your chance to win. Reporting live from Alex Bluefield, 680 News Time 9:06.
A published report this morning says the Prime Minister is consulting with bank CEOs to help the country through the pandemic struggles. Our Chris McCusker reports from the 680 Business Center.
The Globe and Mail says Justin Trudeau consulted with the heads of the 6 big banks over the Victoria Day weekend, looking for insight on the state of the economy and the impact of COVID-19 relief efforts. The paper describes the calls as high-level check-ins rather than deep discussions, and the report also says this was the first one-on-one contact that Trudeau has had with them since the start of the pandemic. Now, direct contact like this is not common. The paper says the last time it happened was in the fall of 2018 as NAFTA was being reworked. But Finance Minister Bill Morneau has been holding weekly calls with the bank CEOs since mid-March. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
680 News Time 9:07.
Oh, at the Weather Center.
As researchers continue to test potential COVID-19 vaccines, questions remain about what needs to happen before we can get vaccinated. The World Health Organization says there are currently 110 candidate vaccines in preclinical tests and 8 in human phase 1 and phase 2 trials. The CDC explains the phase 1 trial, like the one being run in Halifax, happens once a vaccine is shown to be safe and effective in animals. It typically includes 10 to 100 healthy volunteers. The director of the Canadian Centre for Vaccinology at Dalhousie University says phase 2 will take 6 months and will include several hundred healthy volunteers. Phase 3 could last years and usually involves up to 30,000 people who are susceptible to the disease. After that, manufacturers can apply for approval, and Health Canada evaluates the data to verify that the vaccine is safe and effective. If approved, it is issued a drug identification number and a notice of compliance authorizing it to be sold in Canada. But experts warn there can be challenges with manufacturing and distribution in the case of a global pandemic. Many vaccines also have ongoing phase 4 studies after they've been approved and are in use.
680 News Time 9:09. A small number of MPs will either have some comments today to debate powerful parliamentary sittings in the coming weeks for the COVID-19 pandemic. From Ottawa, 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney.
This will be a political battle over whether or not MPs should be meeting regularly in person during this health crisis. The Trudeau Liberals will put forward a motion to expand the special COVID-19 committee to make it 2 virtual sittings, 1 in person and 1 hybrid each week, as well as 4 regular sittings of the House over the summer. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has noted with current restrictions, not every member can safely make it to Ottawa. There will have to be a way for parliamentarians across the country
thank you for being
smart. Conservatives have a motion of their own declaring Parliament an essential service and calling for regular sittings to resume with at least 50 MPs. The Liberals need the support of only one opposition party, and the NDP may agree as long as the government offers support for disabled Canadians and paid sick leave for workers. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time 9:10. His software was among the first to predict the global spread of COVID-19. Now the Toronto-based researcher behind it is calling for big changes to the way the world monitors and reacts to such outbreaks, especially with a second wave looming. 680's Jamie Pulver has the latest.
It's a digital early warning system that sounded the alarm about this virus on December 31st.
We did not know that this would become the next pandemic, but we did know that there were echoes of the SARS outbreak, and it was something that we really should be paying attention to.
University of Toronto professor Dr. Carmen Khan is the founder and CEO of Blue Dot, pandemic predicting software with an algorithm that scours the world for outbreaks of infectious disease in real time. It includes tracking flight information from thousands of airports, quickly figuring out where some 800,000 travelers were headed as they flew out of Wuhan, China on New Year's Eve. Dr. Khan says we need to use this kind of technology to better react to outbreaks, saying right now it takes too long. Concerning as we brace for a second wave of this virus. I'm Jamie Pulver.
This is 680 News.
I don't know at what point. Oh, shit.
As a homeowner, you have built up equity value in your home. With Capital Direct, equity equals flexibility for homeowners. Flexibility to finance your business. Flexibility to renovate your home. Or flexibility to pay off other bills like credit cards or property taxes.
I need like $25,000
in credit you would like to take care of, call Capital Direct today at 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL and see what's available for you. .ca.
680 News, time 9:11.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
We have a collision on the westbound 401 approaching Kiel in the collectors, blocking the left lane, but it's pretty likely travel through there, so it's not causing a slowdown at this point. Meantime, if you're on the eastbound 401, there's not much doing at all. Eastbound 407, two left lanes blocked. Dundas to Bronte, there's some paving happening until this evening, which has effectively taken out the northbound Bronte branch to the east 407 as well. Meantime, if you're traveling on the south 427, there's some construction. The express ramp to the west QEW is still open, but you've got that right lane blocked, and southbound 404 construction coming in just now at 16th Avenue, right lane being blocked off there as well. Full ramp closure, one small Evans ramp to the west QEW. That's for some maintenance happening. Road work also taking place westbound QEW at Winston Churchill, left lane blocked. Anytime if you're on Bathurst, it's completely closed. Fort York to front for bridge repairs, and the intersection of Church and Richmond also closed until the end of June. Your next report's at 9:21 with the forecast right now. That's Jill Taylor.
Yeah, it's me. And if you love the heat and humidity, you will love today for tomorrow and Wednesday. The guaranteed high today, 29 degrees. It'll feel closer to 34, perhaps even warmer. And it'll feel closer to 38 with the humidity for Tuesday and Wednesday. Higher chances of wet weather for tomorrow and Wednesday as well. Right now, already feels like 30 with the humidity. It's rather hazy. 24 at Pearson, 17 and sunny at 680 News. It will be cooler near the lake. Guaranteed high today, 29. 680 News, time 9:13.
Now the Dynamic Funds
Over to Chris McCusker at the 680 Business Center. U.S. markets are closed for Memorial Day, so the TSX will go it alone, looking for a second straight winning session. Price for gold right now is out by $10, $17.43. Oil is higher by 23 cents, $33.48 a barrel. That is a gain of 0.7%. The Canadian crude index, by comparison, sitting at 23.58. And the Canadian dollar right now is higher by 2/100, 71.47 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Direct Invest with Scotia iTrade. Get started in 3 easy steps and begin your investing journey from home today.
I get two phones.
At ScotiaITrade.com.
Still ahead on 680 News.
It went so well the first time, why not do it again? The second Blue Jays Virtual Variety Hour is a go. Throw it back to the drive of 85.
680 News, time 9:14. Together, we are making a difference to stop the spread of COVID-19. As businesses and workplaces begin to reopen, we all have to continue doing our part to keep everyone safe. Remember to practice physical distancing or wear a face covering if physical distancing is a challenge. And wash your hands thoroughly and often. Whether inside or out, stay safe and save lives. For more information, visit ontario.ca/coronavirus, paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Hi, Steve Friedman here.
And him too. We hope that everyone is healthy and we are now officially open for business.
Shorter hours and all of the safety precautions in place, especially as this new normal begins.
What about our old normal of best selection in leather and fabric seating?
Spending more time at home in comfort from your friends at the Chesterfield Shop.
Celebrating 72 years in the community with no tax specials, plus 1 year with no interest, no payments.
This is All News Radio, 680 News, 17 degrees with sunshine and a humidity of 27. Good morning from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Paul Cook.
I'm Catherine Jeté. Here are the top stories right now.
Will you get tested for COVID-19? Premier says even if you aren't showing symptoms, you can now go to an assessment center and request a test. Mayor Tory apologizing for his own failure to properly wear a mask and physically distance while checking out that massive crowd at Trinity Bellwoods Park. And coming up after sports,
Brazil overtaking Russia as the second worst hit country in the world. Spain's staggered reopening continues, and no more COVID-19 state of emergency in Japan. Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, StrippedThreads.
Hey, good morning again, everybody. It appears the NHL and NBA made progress over the weekend regarding a return to play. Now, the talks between baseball's owners and players played to be much more acrimonious. Thoughts from the days ahead from insider John Morosi, who was on leadoff.
It is the biggest week yet that we have seen in terms of the labor relations side of things and the actual conversations about the game getting back on the field. And I'm a strong believer that probably within the next week to 10 days that it's going to be imperative for there to be an agreement. And I'm still confident that there will be.
In pitch last year, Bartolo Colon says he is not retired and would like to take the field again. He turned 47 yesterday, also needs 46 innings of work to pass Juan Marichal for most by a Dominican pitcher. In case you missed these yesterday, Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning beating Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady in the match at the Medalist Golf Club in Florida. Brad Keselowski winning the Coca-Cola 600. Sports 50 and 45 bets every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
60 News Time 9:17.
Somewhere, I'll go find it.
Host of the podcast, Chatter That Matters. Thanks to the incredible support of RBC, we're focusing on the heart of the Canadian economy.
Morons in the business of playing stupid games with the phone companies. The only people you need to do your business is the phone companies.
Versus price.
For us, it was very important to build a workforce
we don't want the phone
that
lines where
consists of
you pay us
employees
for
versus
1-800
contractors.
Did you get customers to pay the difference? Stephen Shaw, who's
hey, why'd you stop paying us the 1-800
says
you told us you didn't want
model is a
it doesn't make
one-stop shop.
sense.
It minimizes our risk.
Price of the
It
pay
obviously
phone line
has
is
a
set
company
at
that takes care of
75%
everything from
price of the
payroll to
business
taxes
line.
to insurance, and that's great.
I don't understand.
Download Chatter That Matters wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks again to RBC for your support.
Especially
Business Matters.
There's like 1,000 fucking orders to go to search through and find it free here.
Don't leave it to the imitators or copycat rooters. Trust the original. Trust Roto-Rooter. Keeping health and
Coffee
safety
shops
as
are
top
exempt. I
priorities
wonder if I
since
donated the phone
1935. For Dreams Plumbing and Water Cleanup, visit rotorooter.com.
60 News Time 9:18. Brazil overtakes Russia and easing of restrictions in Spain and no more state of emergency in Japan. Our coverage of the coronavirus pandemic continues with 680's Laura Carney and the latest international developments.
Brazil overtaking Russia for the second worst hit country in the world. On Sunday, Brazil reported more than 15,000 new COVID-19 cases, pushing its total to at least 363,000. At least 22,000 have died. Brazil's president continues to get slammed over his response to the virus. He appeared at a rally and greeted crowds without a face mask over the weekend. CNN's Nick Payton-Walsh.
Certainly here, there are many Brazilians furious at the mixed messages their president has given them and how that's hampered moves towards a lockdown and possibly why they are now a week to 2 weeks away from the peak, seeing such startling numbers.
The numbers in Russia, now the third hardest hit country, continue to rise steadily. Russia recording close to 9,000 new cases to just over 353,000. Spain's staggered reopening continues. Residents, including those in the biggest cities of Madrid and Barcelona, enter phase 1 today, which allows social gatherings of up to 10 people in restaurants and bars with outdoor patios. And no more state of emergency in Japan. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe lifting that state of emergency in Tokyo and 4 other remaining regions today, ending the nationwide restrictions. I'm Laura Carney.
680 News Time 9:19 to the U.S. now, where live music is returning to Nashville as that city continues to reopen.
Nashville Mayor John Cooper is moving his city into phase 2 of reopening. Bars and restaurants can bring back dine-in service to 75% capacity.
Live music, a hallmark of Nashville establishments, can return to local restaurants and bars in a similarly phased format.
But no more than 2 performers can be on stage at a time, and dance floors must remain closed. There can be no gatherings of more than 25 people. Brian Burrow, ABC News.
This is 680 News, a new campaign providing meals for frontline healthcare workers in our city launching this weekend. Melissa Nakabali of City News has more from organizer Brian Brown.
CSU Toronto launched this weekend providing lunches for frontline workers at Sunnybrook Reactivation Care Center and also supporting local restaurants in the process.
This is where we get to see how strong a city we live in.
I think you get a kid out of CAS a fucking cell phone might fucking work. These people free cable. I don't know.
Really showing you how everyone's
None of them
really
using it for
for each other.
All proceeds from the campaign will benefit hospitals, frontline workers, and mental health services based on their needs throughout the pandemic.
And you can support the project by purchasing branded apparel at seeyousoontoronto.com.
News Time 9:21.
Traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by Lexus of Oakville. Here's Zach Bogenstein.
All right, now new problem on the westbound 401 west of the DVP and the Express. Left lanes blocked through here, and there's really no delay as you travel through there. And even better news that the problem approaching Keel and the collectors cleared away. Eastbound 401 also not really affected by much at this point, but East 407 is dealing with construction. 2 left lanes are blocked from Dundas to Bronte. North Bronte ramp to the East 407 closed for that construction. That's expected to wrap up tonight around 7 or 9 o'clock between that time frame at this point. Southbound 404 construction still in the right lane at 16th Avenue. You'll find roadwork set up as well on the West Paul Evans ramp to the West QEW, so it's closed until Wednesday morning. Left lanes also blocked West QEW at Winston Churchill for construction. Nothing really doing on the DVP. Really nice drive into and out of downtown. Same thing on the Gardner if you need to take either of those. Bathurst closed, Fort York to front. Bridge repairs happening through there. There's also construction until the end of June from Church to Richmond. Nobody looks after you like Lexus of Oakville now open, and to keep you and their team safe, you're encouraged to make an appointment to visit. Book your time at lexusofoakville.ca. Now with the forecast, Jill Taylor.
Well, it's already very, very warm this morning. Feels like 30, especially away from the lake with that humidity, and then near the lake 17, feeling like 21. But yeah, it's a warm day and rather hazy too. The guaranteed high 29 degrees. Do have a slight chance of showers or isolated thunderstorms, but a higher chance for Tuesday and for Wednesday. Highs tomorrow and Wednesday, 30 to about 32 degrees, feeling more like 38 with the humidity. We've jumped right into summer-like conditions. Right now, hazy 24 degrees at Pearson, 17 and sunny at 680 News. The guaranteed high today, 29.
Phone's heavier than the fucking piece of metal.
And because we did not make the weather guarantee yesterday,
you did not.
we have given away our jackpot of $3,100. The jackpot went to Maria Young of Newmarket. She won at 7:21 this morning. You can head to 680news.com to become an insider member and enter for your chance to win the next jackpot.
Coming up at 9:30, it's week 11 under COVID restrictions, and it begins with a plea from the Premier and a mea culpa from the Mayor.
680 News Time 9:23.
Wednesdays on CBC. It's back
Nobody buys drugs in Latin. I get fucked over. Oh, you should use the Latin word. Why? I'm not Latin. You're not Latin. Shut the fuck up. It's that language. Right? Because nobody speaks it. Shut the fuck up. Oh, I'm sorry. You shouldn't say marijuana. That's slang. That's Mexican slang. What do you mean? Brown people say marijuana and white people say cannabis? Okay, I'm going to say marijuana.
The whole family is under suspicion for the rest of their lives.
Jesus, man. I like that word. But I didn't know that word till after I heard marijuana.
Helping you navigate our new world.
And looking forward to when life resumes.
I think Spanish. That'd be closer to Latin. They would accept that more than I don't.
The Blue Jays are doing a second virtual variety hour with some big names announced for the video call. Our Jeff Verhoeven has the details.
Yeah, the team announcing it this morning. The first virtual variety hour was such a big hit. They're going to do it again this Thursday, 7 p.m. on Zoom. You can video call in and mingle with some of your favorite Blue Jays, past and present. And they're going all out for this one. Taking part this time will be
I'm gonna stand up for 2 days straight. All these little hairs start to poke through.
Yeah, Bo Bichette will be on the call, but perhaps even cooler than that, George Bell, Jesse Barfield, and Lloyd Mosby will also zoom in. The outfield from the drive of 85, taking your questions, having fun, joking around, legendary. Register at bluejays.com/variety hour, and you'll get the code to join in. I'm Jeff.
Goddamn reason I'm never going to find it all
business in 60 seconds.
I know, 5 years from now, I'm going to reach
News Time 9:25.
See it, and I'll go to reach in my
BDO Debt Solutions understands that uncertain times can put a strain on your finances. If you're finding it difficult to cover your monthly expenses, keep up with minimum payments, and manage your debt load, a BDO licensed consultancy trustee will provide a free over-the-phone consultation, review your situation, explain your debt relief options, and help find a debt solution that works for you. BDO is committed to ensuring you get the debt help you need when you need it. Call 1-855-BDO-DEBT to book a free phone consultation.
Oh, there's not even a handle. There's a replacement blade.
It's time to stop rearranging the utensil drawer. It's time to stop baking bread. It's time to stop working out
never time to stop making bread. You gotta make bread.
It's time to put life back in drive. Because right now at Toyota, you can get
got them phones to work. South Canada,
their most advanced safety features at no extra cost. And take advantage of our 6-month payment deferral plan.
Twice the price. Still don't get the profit.
Contact your local dealer to book an appointment. We're ready when you are.
650 News Time 9:26.
Now the business report with Chris McCusker. What are we expecting today, Chris?
Well, Paul, we've got U.S. markets closed, so it's not really clear which way the TSX is going to go. If it sort of looks to Europe for a kind of a signal, it will move higher, and it is trying for a second straight winning day. It's also coming off a winning week.
Oh my God,
more than 1% in that shortened trading week last week, although year to date it's still down by more than 12.5%.
Oh, but it's
now, Boeing's woes are now hitting Canada. The plane maker says it's cutting 400 positions at its Winnipeg facilities due to the impact of COVID-19. A statement from the company says the reductions will come from voluntary and involuntary layoffs and normal attrition. According to Boeing's website, the company employs about 1,600 people in 2 locations in the city where, this is key, they produce components mainly for its commercial airplanes. But Boeing failed to sell a single commercial airplane in April.
Good. Good,
So,
because
with
their
US
airplanes
closed,
crash themselves into the ground.
trading electronically, the price
They're
for
old
gold
ones
right
now.
now
Most
is
of
down
them, no, these new ones,
$9.43. Oil is higher by
I don't
21
even know the
cents,
pilot's supposed to do the same.
33.46,
Well,
and the
what the
Canadian
fuck is
dollar right
wrong with you?
now
How
is up
the
by
fuck?
3,100, 71.48 US.
So the Toyota's
Consumer
185.
confidence in Canada
Well,
moving higher
that wasn't
for
up.
a
That was
fourth
supposedly
straight
not on
week.
purpose.
The Bloomberg Nanos Canadian
They tried to
Confidence
fix the
Index
software
now
3
stands at
times. It's still fucking
39.3
broken.
after
No,
recording
that's-
its worst
no,
ever
that's
reading
4
last
times.
month. But it has been improving since then. And then one other note for today, Bank of Canada Governor Stephen Poloz will give a speech today. He might offer an update on how the economy is doing, but it's worth noting that his term ends on June 2nd, so he probably will instead leave that to the incoming governor, Tip Macklem, to indicate future direction at this point. So again, with Stephen Poloz's term ending June 2nd, this is likely to be his final appearance as the Bank of Canada governor. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
Asking for help isn't always easy, but getting it should be. At Scotiabank, it's easy to apply for financial relief for you or for your business. You can quickly request a payment deferral online or access other financial support options. Or we can talk together about a personalized plan that will help you both today and tomorrow. Visit scotiabank.com/relief to learn more. Scotiabank. Milk is there when you're baking to keep the kids busy, and in the tea sip when you just need one moment of peace. It's in the recipe you call your mom for when you just wanted to catch up, and the treats you indulge in while catching up on your favorite shows. If you let you decorate with precision, even when your kids have the precision salvable dessert, it's in that creme brulee, that and those cupcakes you baked that were straight fire. So if milk can do all that with just a pour, sip, whip, and whir, what can milk do?
Okay, the heat is on. Is that a swimming pool I saw in your backyard?
I mean, it's a little tiny, like, paddling pool, and the poor, like, nearly 11-year-old is trying to, like, fold his giant legs to fit in there with his brother and sister. We need a bigger pool.
Oh, okay, so you can buy
Everything
No, this is
stainless and
the
black.
paddling pool. The 3-year-old is loving it, but
Does have
for the
color. It's
11-year-old, it's a
anodized.
bit small.
The kids get upset when you
That's
look
writing.
up
It's
beer
fucking
cans in
laser
there.
red. So I like shit. Boss.
It's frosty.
It matches the fucking toaster oven.
I'm Catherine today. It's 9:30.
It matches the ball. It matches.
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Sarah Barrett and Steve Robert. Good morning. It's Monday, May 25th.
And good morning. Here's what's making news this hour. Get a test. That's the message from the Premier, urging anyone who thinks they may have COVID-19 to get tested regardless of symptoms.
The Daily Bread Food Bank opens a second warehouse as the pandemic rolls on with more families in need. The Premier remaining confident the needed supplies are being made.
The Ford government is loaning the OLG $500 million to keep the provincial gambling agency afloat during the pandemic.
A humid X in the mid-30s and a chance of thunderstorms nearly every afternoon. Yes, summer weather has arrived for the last week of May.
The latest on Major League Baseball.
It is the biggest week yet.
Negotiations continuing between baseball's owners and players. Sports at 45.
Higher for a second straight session. It's up by 96 points with U.S. markets closed, and Canadian bank earnings start rolling in this week. Business at 56.
680 News Time, 9:31.
It's time for traffic and weather together all at once. Good morning, Zach Bodenstein.
Rogers Wireless, we are dealing with a little bit of road work out there on the major routes. Thankfully, no problems. The only collision we had cleared was 401 west of the Don Valley Parkway Indy Express. Meantime, eastbound 401 not really affected by anything. So let's get to the road work. East 407, Dundas to Bronte. A couple of left lanes are blocked, which is taking out the North Bronte ramp to that route. 4 left lanes are blocked on the East 407, Martin Grove over to Islington. They're going to be doing that work until about 5 this evening. Southbound 404 construction at 16th Avenue, and we're also dealing with road work blocking the Westmall Evans ramp to the West QEW. Right now, we aren't dealing with slowdowns. Like I said, no problems to report, so a pretty easy drive. Other than that construction, meantime in town, Bathurst closed, Fort York to Front, Church and Richmond, that intersection shut down. Now at Rogers, get 3 months free wireless service when activating a Rogers Infinite plan for small business with financing. $75 per month thereafter. Visit Rogers.com.
Air blowing through. Damn it.
A hot, humid week for us. Sun and cloud today. Guaranteed
I
high
can't figure out
29.
water on my floor is
Like
coming
34.
from. It's a little
Slight
bit,
chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight. Below 17. For today, the guaranteed high 29.
And right now in downtown
Some
Toronto,
of the
we've
water
got
on my
a
ceilings, my
beautiful
floor,
day
and
so
water on
far.
the floor is my
Sunny
floor.
cloud at 24, although it's already feeling like 30 degrees. And those same conditions at Pearson.
Why'd you crank that with a wrench?
9:33.
He hadn't done that. That wouldn't be doing that now.
The weekend with high COVID-19 case numbers in Ontario. We will find out within
Oh,
the
it's
hour
dripping.
what the latest
Yeah, a
tally is.
little.
It comes
Drip.
after Premier Doug Ford
Drip.
announced a major
Cranks it with a
change in
wrench.
testing guidelines.
And 6
Yeah,
Cam
stripped
Dork joining us live with the latest this morning. Good morning, Cam.
Good morning, Steve. The Premier says mass testing is the only way to beat the virus, and starting now, anyone in the province can
The
get
rubber seal
tested for
rod out
COVID-19
just disappeared. Did they
regardless
not
if they
put
are
a new
showing
seal in when
symptoms
they
or not.
put that
Doug
part
Ford
in?
says that if anyone has any reason to believe they're exposed to the virus, now is the time to make sure.
Even if you're not showing symptoms, please go get a test.
My environmentalists could be happy. I'm not burning no well the concrete floor.
Just show up to a testing center.
Oh,
There are 12 centers in Toronto, including Etobicoke General, Mount Sinai, and Michael Garron Hospital. The full list can be found on the city's website. Right now, the province is testing around 11,000 people a day, less than half of what our healthcare system is capable of. We are expecting new numbers from the province within the hour. The Premier also speaking at 1 this afternoon, hopefully outlining some of the new guidelines around testing. As always, we will carry the press conference live right here on 680 News. Reporting live, I'm Cam Dorrit.
680 News Time, 9:34. And the Daily Bread Food Bank has opened a new warehouse today to accommodate the need for food distribution in response to the pandemic.
Hold on.
680's Moment Qureshi joins us live with more. Moment.
Oh, wait. Not just the such supply. Hold on.
This new onto the food bank as the
You're going to tell us they don't have nothing in there.
ministers
got a
are all
warehouse.
there talking about this new warehouse opening in Etobicoke. It comes as the pandemic rolls on and the demand for food has increased significantly. It's well known that so many people across this province have lost their jobs, are out of work, are struggling financially, depending on what service you're in. Some lost people on the benefit plans or the EI. So there's a high demand right now for the food bank. You heard just now the president there talking about how they used to get through their supplies in about a month, and now they're doing it in about 2 weeks. So
they're
clearly
going
the demand
through
is
shit
high.
like crazy.
But also,
They're not
some
lying
interesting
about
things
that.
to point out as the Premier was walking up to the mic there to make his remarks.
He kind of took a playful pot shot at the Mayor Tory, asking if it was okay if he could take his mask off, referring to Mayor Tory being at Trinity Bellwoods Park this weekend and not wearing his mask. So we'll have more from this opening of the food bank coming up in about half an hour's time. Reporting live, I'm Owen Qureshi.
Well, in that Brett, Mayor John Tory actually apologizing and admitting that he did make a mistake after he was seen amidst an overcrowded Trinity Bellwoods Park over the weekend. Our Carl Hansky is at the park and joins us with a story and reaction.
There's the odd walker and dog walker this morning here in Trinity Bellwoods Park, but it is nothing like Saturday when residents say thousands packed this park.
I've seen groups of like 10, 20 people sitting together without any social distancing.
I get it that it's been a long winter. People want to be outside, enjoy the sun, but it's really unfortunate to see that these people chose to do this.
Mayor Tory ended up being one of them. He came to check out the crowd and was photographed standing close to people with his mask down around his neck.
He's just like any other human, so we should cut him some slack.
But the mayor has apologized, saying, quote, "As a leader in this city, I know I must set a better example going forward," unquote. Tory says he intended to properly physical distance, but the large crowd made it difficult to do. At Trinity Bellwoods Park, I'm Carl Hansky.
Queen's Park has given Ontario Lottery and Gaming a $500 million loan to keep it afloat during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Toronto Star reports the Ontario Finance Authority is providing OLG with a line of credit to help meet its operational costs and obligations. The province's state of emergency has closed casinos, slot machines, and racetracks for the past 2 months. Gambling accounts for over 17,000 jobs in Ontario. In March, the finance minister projected OLG would bring in $809 million in 2020-21. That's compared to $2.3 billion last year.
Well, it's certainly going to feel a lot like summer this week with the high heat and humidity already in store. Our Alex Bloomfield is on the Weather Watch.
If winter dragged on for 6 months, why can't summer do the same? We're getting started a month early this week. Our meteorologist Jill Taylor says we could be flirting with a record high by Wednesday.
The record for May 27th at Toronto Pearson is 31.7, set in 1939. Could hit 32 for Wednesday, so we'll watch that. Humidex values 37, 38.
Today it's no slouch either. A guaranteed high of 29 degrees. It will feel more like 34. And speaking of our guarantee, our jackpot has now been reset. After Sunday's heat fooled our weather experts, Maria Young of Newmarket, a Day 1 680 News listener, taking home $3,100 this morning.
Shocking. I'm surprised, everyone.
Get in on our next giveaway by joining our Insider Club at 680news.com. I'm Alex Bloomfield.
Well, the pandemic may force companies to change their policies around people coming into work sick. From the 680 Business Center, our Chris McCusker picks up the story. Showing up to work sick is called presenteeism. That's according to an associate professor of human resource management at the University of Guelph. Nita Chinzer says it happens when a culture praises overwork. But she adds low-wage workers and people who work several jobs may not get paid sick days, creating a financial incentive too. But those days may be gone, with many experts suggesting it now seems reckless and irresponsible. And we are seeing signs there could be a shift in workplace culture. Many companies are now doing regular health checks on their employees as stores reopen. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
You're listening to Toronto's only all-news radio station. This is 680 News. A limited number of MPs are set to return to the House of Commons today, where they will resume the battle over how to hold future proceedings of Parliament during this pandemic.
Is it safe for Parliament to meet regularly in person during this pandemic? That's the question MPs will clash over as they debate opposing motions over the path forward. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer making a move to declare Parliament an essential service so that regular proceedings continue with at least 50 MPs.
This is about whether or not a country like Canada can have a functional parliament during a crisis.
But the Trudeau government is proposing to expand the special committee sittings to have 2 virtual meetings, 1 in person and 1 hybrid. There could also be 4 regular House sittings over the summer. Since this is a minority government and Liberals need the help of at least one other party, the NDP has indicated if the Liberals agree to supports for disabled Canadians and a plan for paid sick leave during the pandemic, the party will support the Liberal motion. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
Well, some Toronto Public Library locations will start accepting book returns today. Select library boxes will be unlocked today, while the remaining drop boxes will be opened on June 1st. A full list is on the library's website. Library customers can continue to place holds online. The curbside pickup will not be available until early June. The library estimates that more than 1 million items are currently out on loan.
And now time for the 680 News gas price update. And says price of gas will not change at midnight tonight. Should hold at 95.9 cents a liter.
680 News Time, 9:40.
Steel dealer days are back this spring with battery blowers and trimmers starting at $159.95. Battery chainsaws at $399.95. And battery lawnmowers starting at only $599.95. Steel battery tools are easy to start, easy to run, and easy to maintain. And for a limited time, save 50% off your second battery when you purchase a new unit. See dealer for details. Steel battery products are sold at over 1,000 authorized Steel dealers across Canada. Find yours today at steel.ca.
680 News Time, 9:41.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
And this traffic report brought to you by Shoppers Drug Mart. We have construction, a lot of it happening on the eastbound 407 at this point. Couple of left lanes blocked for some paving, Dundas to Bronte until this evening. And of course, that's shutting down the North Bronte ramp to the eastbound 407. They're letting us know some construction is just going to be put in place. East 407 ramp to Appleby, they're getting ready to shut that ramp down. They still have the 4 left lanes closed as well. East 407 Martin Grove over to Islington. Meantime, the 401, that's a really good drive at this point if you want to take that across the city. No complaints at all. You're looking at a pretty good one on the DVP as well. Just some construction in either direction on the 404. Southbound 404, right lane blocked at 16th, the left lane taken out. Northbound 404 once you get to Highway 7. West Gardner, that fills in a little bit just west of the DVP. Of course, we have those long-term lane restrictions there for construction. West Mall Evans ramp to the West QEW closed off for road work until Monday morning. Picking up a prescription at Shoppers, you can manage your prescriptions online from the comfort of your home. Get started at shoppersdrugmart.ca/prescriptions. Now with the forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
You definitely need the summer wardrobe today. Sun and cloud, the guaranteed high 29 will feel like 34. Do have a slight chance of showers or isolated thunderstorms tonight. And again tomorrow, Tuesday's high 30 will feel like 37. For today, the guaranteed high 29.
Right now in downtown Toronto, looks like we got partly cloudy conditions, although it feels like 25, though, when you factor in that humidity. Over at Pearson Airport, partly cloudy, 24, but out there, already feeling like 30 degrees. 680 News Time, 9:42.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute, live from the Business Center. Here's Chris McCusker.
Well, Sarah, a good start on Bay Street. It's higher by 103 points, 15,017. So back above that 15,000 mark. It's also higher for a second straight day. And keep in mind that U.S. markets are closed for Memorial Day. So it's kind of going it alone here, although it might be taking its cue from markets in Europe, where we are seeing decent gains. Right now, the price for gold is off by $9, $17.44. Oil is higher by 17 cents. 33.42. That's a gain of about 0.5%. And then the Canadian dollar not doing much. It's up by 100, 71.46 cents US. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Direct invest with Scotia iTrade. Get started in 3 easy steps and begin your investing journey from home today. Learn more at ScotiaITrade.com.
Let's put a telegraph key on the fucking front of this.
Listen here, my friend, and I'll offer a little advice. Why scour the city looking for a used or new car when you can easily visit OntarioCars.ca and find a large selection to choose from? Couldn't be simpler. No clutter, just cars. There's all-in pricing from our trusted sellers too, and all purchases are protected by a compensation fund. Find your gem at OntarioCars.ca.
Doctors are good people and only want what's good for their patients. So if they say you can't work, I believe them, and so should your long-term disability insurer. My name is Aaron Waxman, and if your long-term disability claim has been denied, call me at 416-661-4878. And don't worry about it for legal fees, because there are none. At my law firm, we don't get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878, or on your cell phone at Pound LTD.
I'm just
We have sunshine in downtown Toronto. It is 22 degrees. Good morning from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Sarah.
They see me just like it doesn't matter what.
Stories on this Monday morning.
We will find out within the hour how many new COVID-19 cases are in Ontario. It comes as the Ford government has announced a new strategy for testing in this province. Premier Ford is now urging everyone who thinks they were exposed, even if they don't have symptoms, to go and get a test. More support for the Daily Bread Food Bank, which is opening a brand new warehouse this morning to accommodate the need for food distribution amid this pandemic. The new facility is located in the Kipling and Evans Avenue area.
They laid off 19,000 city employees. Oh, no, they're about to lay them off. Jesus, it's the same thing.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Steve. It could be a big week as baseball's owners and players discuss parameters of returning to play. The main issue now is time. Baseball insider John Morosi.
Find a way to start to play games by early July. You really need to be able to begin spring training by June 10, June 15, and to do that, you've got to make a decision by the early part of June. The calendar is telling us right now how important all of this is.
It's believed money is one of the big issues with players not willing to take the owner's request for a 50-50 split of revenue for this season. If there is baseball days, the fan, more Jays from 2015, smashing the Rangers on August 26th. Sports 50 and 45 bets every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca.
Everything's tight as hell because I fixed that check.
We are making a difference to stop the spread of COVID-19. As businesses and workplaces begin to reopen, we all have to continue doing our part to keep everyone safe. Remember to practice physical distancing or wear a face covering if physical distancing is a challenge, and wash your hands thoroughly and often. Whether inside or out, stay safe and save lives.
Watch your money before you go to the
visit
store.
Ontario.ca/coronavirus, paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Your home is more than just a place to live. It's your window of opportunity.
Shit I wasn't buying anyway. I wanted to buy it.
Your home can provide valuable equity that will give you the freedom to complete those renovations. Support your business or simply get your debt in line. An easy call to 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL will open the doors to all the good things you thought were beyond your reach as a homeowner. So pick up the phone and call 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL today.
When you get killed that way, they don't ever catch the guy that did it.
After 2 incidents of shots fired in the city last night, officers called to Danforth and Greenwood Avenues just before midnight after reports of a dispute between a driver and a cyclist. Police say multiple shots were fired. 3 men took off in a black Honda sedan. They were all wearing masks and were armed with a chrome pistol. Around 10:45,
3 of them. They got to wear masks. The car is less than 2 meters. Unless you got like a super long van.
Police say witnesses saw a group of people running away from the scene and vehicles leaving the area. No injuries were reported in either incident. Lockdowns are lifting in Spain and Japan, while the number of new cases in Brazil has yet to peak. We continue our coverage of the pandemic with 680's Laura Carney, who has the latest international developments. It is a grim situation in Brazil, which has quickly become the second hardest hit country in the world, recording more than 15,000 new COVID-19 cases yesterday, pushing its total to at least 363,000. At least 22,000 have died. The peak in Brazil not expected for another week or 2. In Russia, the country with the 3rd highest number of infections, the numbers continue to rise steadily, recording close to 9,000 new cases to just over 353,000. In Spain, the state of reopening continues in major cities like Madrid and Barcelona, which were slower to ease lockdown measures compared to the rest of the country. You can now gather in groups of up to 10 people and go to restaurants and bars with outdoor patios. CNN's Al Goodman is in Madrid.
Now, just about half of the country is on this phase 1, which also allows the smaller stores to be open. The other half of the country is on a more advanced level called phase 2, which allows for meeting of 15 people, seating at restaurants outdoors and indoors.
And Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has lifted the coronavirus state of emergency in Tokyo and 4 other remaining regions, ending the nationwide restrictions. Laura Carney. 2 workers at the Loblaws on Carlton at Church have tested positive for COVID-19. And the last days they worked were May 13th and May 18th, but neither had symptoms at the time. The store was thoroughly cleaned and sanitized. It's expected to reopen as usual today. Loblaws is notifying customers who recently shopped at the 60 Carlton location. And the software he helped create saw the COVID-19 pandemic coming. Now a U of T researcher wants to change the way the world watches for and reacts to disease outbreaks. Look at the story from 680's Jamie Pulfer. The Toronto-based researcher is now calling for those big changes, especially with the threat of a second wave of this virus. Dr. Carmen Kahn is the founder and CEO of Blue Dot, the pandemic predicting software that sounded the alarm early about COVID-19, even tracking the 800,000 travelers who flew out of Wuhan, China on December 31st.
Can you think of an outbreak a bit like a fire and embers flying off? These are like embers flying off into different locations.
Quickly able to predict where the virus was going to hit next. He says the world is changing with diseases emerging at a greater frequency and having bigger impacts. And this software uses big information and artificial intelligence to provide a bird's eye view of diseases around the world in real time. I'm Jamie Pulfer.
680 News Time, 9:51.
Time for traffic and weather together all the ones. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
And this traffic report's brought to you by City TV. There's road work happening east on the 407. A couple of left lanes blocked for some paving from Dundas to Bronte until this evening. They've also shut the ramp to Appleby down for some construction, but they have reopened the North Bronte ramp to the eastbound 407. Meantime, 4 left lanes remain blocked on the east 407 from Martin Grove to Islington. So you still have a couple of right lanes to work with, but there's still those lane restrictions in place. East and westbound 407, those are moving well right now. Really haven't seen any slowdown at this point, and also not dealing with any restrictions on those routes. Southbound DVP at 16th, right lane blocked with construction. Northbound 404 at Highway 7, left lane's also taken out for some road work. So the DVP looks good, but there is construction in either direction on the 404. Meantime, the West Mall Evans ramp to the westbound QEW remains closed off for some construction. Get the latest news affecting our community every night on City News at 6 and 11, only on City TV. And now let's get an extended look at the forecast. Here's Jill Taylor.
If you love the heat and humidity, you will love this week. The guaranteed high today, 29, will feel like 34. Sun and clouds for the most part. Slight chance of showers and isolated thunderstorms tonight, though 17. More of the same for Tuesday and Wednesday. Tomorrow's high 30 will feel like 37. Wednesday's high could be a record high, 32 degrees. Will feel like 38. For today, the guaranteed high, 29.
And right now in downtown Toronto, we have got mix of sun and clouds, 22. Back to where the humidity, it feels more like 25 degrees. Out of Pearson, 24, but feeling like 30.
Hey, what is this 666 for?
This extended forecast is brought to you by Walmart.
With Walmart's guaranteed unbeatable low prices, save $2 on a box of Jane's chicken strips or nuggets. Now only $7.97. Walmart. Save money, live better.
Hi, I'm Laura Pedone, Quality Control Manager at Monte Carlo Inns. At Monte Carlo Inns, we know it's not business as usual. In these unprecedented times, we are here for you. Should you need an office away from home or just a comfortable night's sleep, we are taking additional measures to ensure your health and safety. By doing so, we will do our best to make Monte Carlo Inns your home away from home. Visit MonteCarloInns.com for more information.
Darren and Mo's Pay Your Bills contest
on 98.1
CHFI.
I've been working 2 jobs, trying to help my parents out.
Your credit card bill, we want to look after that.
As long as you keep getting bills, we'll keep paying them.
I love you guys. Do the best. Thank you.
Enter to help Darren and Mo pay your bills by uploading a photo of your bill to CHFI.com.
Then listen for us to call your name weekdays at 8 and 4 for your chance to win Darren and Mo's Pay Your Bills contest
on 98.1 CHFI.
680 News Time, 9:54. City Line returns to TV today. The new 1-hour episodes are being produced remotely. Today's first show back will feature tips on how to freshen up your outdoor space. City Line airs at 10 a.m. on City TV. And in sports news today, the NBA is talking to Disney while the NHL's expanded format is a go. Sports leagues around North America look to resume. Our Simon Bennett has the latest information you may have missed over the weekend.
We start with the NBA because 1 year ago today, congratulations to the 2019 Eastern Conference champions, Toronto Raptors. Just just another reminder, the Raptors are still defending champs, and if there is a resumption, the only fan allowed in the building might be this guy. The NBA having exploratory discussions with ESPN's Wide World of Sports complex. That's part of Disney World in Orlando. The hope is to resume playing late July with all teams playing and living there. The NHLPA earlier in the weekend giving the go-ahead in the expanded 2014 playoff format. Still lots of details to work out, but it's something. And New York Governor Andrew Cuomo giving the okay for sports teams in that state to start training again.
We want people to be able to watch sports to the extent people are still staying home.
I'm Simon Bennett.
Coming up in business news in 60 seconds, it's a winning start to the day on Bay Street.
680 News Time, 9:55.
Hi, it's Tony Chapman, host of the podcast Chatter That Matters. Thanks to the incredible support of RBC, we're focusing on the heart of the Canadian economy, small businesses. Jennifer Menard Staffing Shop staffs events. She goes from a record year to having every event canceled. She needs to pivot.
How much do we pivot? How far? How fast? And for how long?
Joe Jackman, Canada's reinventionist, offers his advice.
Her ethos ultimately is a winning strategy. Get people that know what they're doing, get them to know how to work together, be really good at selling your proposition and getting credit for what makes you different. That will prevail.
Download Chatter That Matters wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks again to RBC for your support of Small Business Matters.
680 News Time, 9:56.
Now the 680 News Business Report. Here's Chris McCusker.
Well, Sarah, we've got Bay Street higher for a second straight session. It's close to its high for the morning as well, up by 139, 15,052, and it is coming off a winning week last week. Still down by more than 12% year to date. Now, we will get bank earnings this week, starting with Scotiabank and National Bank tomorrow. Right now, shares in Scotiabank up by 1%. 51.63. Now, this could be a tough quarter for the banks as mortgage and loan deferral programs rolled out amid COVID-19. The six big banks could be setting aside $8.9 billion for bad loans in the fiscal second quarter. That would be a record amount, and it also works out to about half of the industry's profits. Now, Wall Street closed today for Memorial Day, but of course, there are still these renewed concerns circulating about the relationship between the U.S. and China. The rhetoric got a little ramped up last week with both countries taking steps. The U.S. accusing China of not doing enough to stop the pandemic, while China took steps to tighten its grip on Hong Kong. Susan Shirk is research professor and chair at 21st Century China Center. She spoke to Bloomberg overseas.
And it's not yet clear to me how much President Trump himself or others in the Trump administration really care about Hong Kong. Certainly in Congress, the reaction has been very strong. And I definitely expect some new legislation from the Congress to hit back.
Price for gold right now is down $13, $17.40. So that's a drop of about 0.8%, while oil is going the other way, though it's only up 20 cents, $33.45. Okay, let's compare oil in the U.S. to oil in Canada. So right now, WTI up by 0.6%. The Canadian crude index is higher by 1.4% to 23.58. So a differential there of a little less than $10. And then Western Canadian Select up by 6 cents to 24.67. So the differential there is about $9. The Canadian dollar right now is higher by 3/100, 71.48 cents U.S. I'm Chris McCusker. This is 680 News.
It is hard to be upbeat if this crisis has made your debt unmanageable. But there is hope. Hear how Canadians have recovered from overwhelming debt.
I was struggling with credit card and payday loan debt. Farber wiped out 70% of my debt and 100% of my stress.
Farber, licensed insolvency trustees, have helped over 100,000 Canadians get out of debt. Visit afarber.com to book a free phone or video consultation.
Live debt-free.
Hey everybody, it's Dina Fulgaza with your Canadian Family's Got Talent update. The votes are in and the top 3 videos are now in the hands of Simon Cowell. Watch Breakfast Television on Tuesday to see Simon announce the winner of Canadian Family's Got Talent.
And this was brilliant.
And the excitement continues with the season premiere of America's Got Talent Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on City TV. Canadian Family's Got Talent winner announcement Tuesday on Breakfast Television, only on City TV, presented by Canadian Tire.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Walmart.
May is Hypertension Month. Learn about risk factors and management from your pharmacist at Walmart. This message is presented by Sandoz Canada. In Milton, a few clouds, 25 degrees. Ajax, sunny and 19. In downtown Toronto, it's mostly sunny and 22. The News Watch never stops. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. It's 10 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Steve Roberts and Sarah Perez.
Good morning. This is Monday, the 25th of May.
Good morning. Here's what's making news this hour.
After 3 days of more than 400 COVID cases in Ontario, the Premier says anyone who thinks they may have been exposed should get tested, symptoms or not.
The Daily Grain Food Bank opens a brand new second warehouse at a time when it's desperately needed. The demand for food banks has increased 35% since the pandemic began.
A limited number of MPs returned to the House of Commons today, where they will resume battle over the future of Parliament during the COVID-19 pandemic.
A little taste of August in late May. We've got summer-like heat today and most of the week, and one 680 News insider is now $3,100 richer.
No blueprint for what the NHL will look like upon return, and Zlatan injured in training. Sports at 15.
It's a busy week ahead for earnings reports from Canada's big banks. U.S. stock markets are closed today for a holiday. The TSX higher for a second day, and the Canadian dollar is flat. Business at 26.
680 News Time, 10:01.
Well, now time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Checking that drive this morning. Here's Zach Bodenstein.
All right, Steve, this report brought to you by Queensway Hyundai. We're looking at construction on the eastbound 407. Dundas to Bronte, 2 left lanes taken out for paving until this evening. The ramp to Applebee's shut down as well, and crews still blocking 4 left lanes from Martin Grove to Islington, meaning you have a couple of right lanes to work with. It's been a little bit slow through that stretch. East and westbound 401, those are looking really good right now. Southbound 404, right lane taken out at 16th Avenue, and northbound on the 404, the left lane blocked at Highway 7. You won't find anything doing on the DVP, though, still moving pretty well through there. West Mall Evans ramp to the West QEW shut down until Wednesday morning for construction. Left lane also blocked at Winston Churchill. Full closure of Bathurst from Fort York to Front Church and Richmond. That intersection closed. This is all for road work. Queensway Hyundai is now offering purchase from Home Solutions or showroom visits by appointment. Last chance for 6-month payment deferral plus 0% lease or finance. Visit QueenswayHyundai.ca. With a check of your Monday forecast, here's Jill Taylor.
Continuing hot and humid, sun and cloud today. The guaranteed high 29 will feel like 34. Slight chance of showers or thunderstorms tonight. The low 17. For today, the guaranteed high 29.
And right now in downtown Toronto, a mostly sunny sky. It's 22 degrees, feeling like 25. 680 News Time, 10:03.
We're just about half an hour away from the latest COVID-19 numbers in this province, coming off the back of a weekend that saw another spike in the number of cases.
680's Cam Dorr joins us live with a preview. Cam.
Here on average, the province is testing 11,000 people a day for COVID-19, well below the target of 16,000 and the capacity of more than 20,000. But that could change thanks to new guidelines. The Premier now says if you have any reason to believe you may have been exposed to COVID-19, go get tested. Speaking this morning at the Daily Press Food Bank, Ford says it's up to us to work together to beat the virus.
We can't rely on other countries or other figures in a time of crisis like this. Because they obviously want to take care of their own. But we work together, the 14.5 million people. There's no one that can compete against us in the entire world.
The plea to get tested comes after case numbers trended in the wrong direction for a week, with 460 new cases reported yesterday and 25 more deaths. If you feel the need to get tested, you can head
Head to one of the city's 12 testing centers. A full list can be found on the city's website. And again, we are expecting those new numbers from the province in less than half an hour. Reporting live, I'm Cam Dorrit.
Well, perhaps it's a sign of the times, but Toronto's Daily Bread Food Bank is now opening up a second location to help deal with an explosion in demand. Our Momin Qureshi is on the story for us, joining us live now with more details. Momin.
See this brand new second warehouse opening up in Etobicoke, and Daily Bread Food Bank CEO Neil Hetherington says it's come just in the moment of time.
It's been uplifting and we've needed it because what has happened has been dramatic and difficult to deal with.
He says he's been talking to executive directors of food banks all around the city, finding that demand has sharply increased since the pandemic began. In fact, they've seen a spike of 35% in demand over the past couple of months. So clearly at a time where people are losing their jobs, finding it hard to make ends meet, the demand has sharply increased at food banks. Remember, this is at a time of even before the pandemic began where food banks were already seeing big demand for what they need. Now, the Premier and the Mayor both on hand at today's news conference. The Premier talking in great deal of detail about food banks, but before he began, as he was walking up to the podium, kind of took a little bit of a playful pot shot at the Mayor.
This? Mayor, I love to take my mask off.
Of course, that is in response to the Mayor being seen at Trinity Bellwoods Park this weekend without a mask on. But Mayor Tory coming to the podium not to be outdone, saying he's got a lot of experience in this area and he's learned a big lesson. Reporting live, I'm Momin Qureshi.
A charity in Parkdale is buying a heritage building and turning it into affordable housing units. 680 business editor Chris McCusker has the details. Victor Willis, the executive director of the Parkdale Activity Recreation Centre Toronto, paid $7.2 million to acquire 1501 Queen Street. The building has 38 rental units inside, and Willis says this should offer secure, stable housing for the nearly 40 existing tenants. The organization now owns 4 buildings and operates more than 100 affordable housing units for residents who live with poverty, mental health, and addiction issues. Now, the couple who own the building said they decided to sell to liquidate some of their holdings, adding that selling to a charity was the right thing to do. At the Business Centre, I'm Chris McCusker.
Well, a small number of MPs are set to clash on the floor of the House of Commons later today as they debate how to hold a parliamentary proceeding and still respect all the health advice that's being dished out.
It looks like a deal could be on the horizon between the Liberals and NDP on a path forward for Parliament. The motion being put forward by the Trudeau government this morning is expected to expand the special COVID-19 committee meetings to 4 sittings a week in a hybrid virtual and in-person system. But NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says his support comes with conditions.
To be really clear, if the government does not deliver on paid sick leave for all Canadians and real supports for Canadians with disabilities, then we will not be supporting the motion.
The Prime Minister is expected to make an announcement in his daily COVID-19 update shortly after the House begins sitting. Conservatives will have a motion of their own declaring Parliament an essential service and calling for regular sittings to resume with at least 50 MPs in the House, arguing they need Parliament to properly hold the government to account. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
Heat and humidity will be dominating the forecast this week. 680's Alex Bloomfield joins us with the story and reaction from the winner of today's $3,100 weather guarantee jackpot.
We could hit 30 degrees a number of times this week, and the humidity will be at August-like levels, so our meteorologist Jill Taylor says that will lead to some instability.
Just heads up for the possibility of showers and thunderstorms almost every day this week.
Today's guaranteed high 29 degrees, feeling like 34. Our weather guaranteed jackpot now back to $1,000 after we gave away our latest jackpot at 7:21 this morning. Maria Young of Newmarket, the big winner, a long time 680 News listener. Do you have any idea when you joined the Insider Club to first take part in the contest?
Oh, I guess when it started, we joined the club.
You can enter for your chance to win our next jackpot at 680news.com. I'm Alex Bloomfield.
Well, University of Toronto researcher is calling for change in the way that the world monitors and reacts to future disease outbreaks. Our Jamie Pulfer's here to explain.
The goal is to monitor diseases around the world in real time, and that's what the pandemic predicting software
of Blue Dot is able to do, scouring the world for outbreaks, and it was among the first to sound the alarm about COVID-19 out of Wuhan, China. Blue Dot founder and CEO Dr. Carmen Khan recently telling 60 Minutes a big part of that included analyzing ticket information from thousands of airports to figure out where the virus was going next.
We can analyze and visualize all this information across the globe in just a few seconds.
Dr. Khan spent a year persuading airlines to share flight information in the name of public health. It's something that's never happened before. All part of the information needed to change the way we deal with outbreaks. Right now, Dr. Khan says it takes too long, and that's concerning, especially with the threat of a second wave of the virus looming. I'm Jamie Pulver.
680 News Time, 10:09. The Washington Nationals unveiled their World Series rings. The usual touches are there, along with one more surprise. Another level to the phenomenon that is Baby Shark. We get details from our Simon Bennett.
Championship rings are typically stunning, and this is no exception. Custom-cut rubies make the Nationals logo on the front, surrounded by diamonds and sapphires, DC landmarks on one side.
I like stuff. If I ever get to the starter by this damn watch. I don't know what time it is. I'll know one minute. Christ. That was bad. Horrible hairs. It's not the hairs, it's the skin. The skin and the hairs don't match. They're fucking nature.
No faces, those dead, no traces. You don't wanna try me, no patience, more patience. Headed to the
It's horrible. All these no, I can't. I see them fucking poking through, and it's like what we would call scar tissue, but it's not. It's keratin. It comes off. It's dead tissue. These fucking things are sticking out. I feel all of these cocksuckers. I'm only talking shit. Drugs, mixed race couples, but yeah, this is what the kids are. Apparently, two different mixed race people produced this. Oh, they didn't look all that different. How the hair come up? But so all these cuts here, you may think I'm digging at my skin. No, the hair cuts through blood vessels and capillaries and shit. Oh yeah, they're fucked up. These hairs are fucked up. I know people have a king for it too, because the number of views people get if they're fucking videos, man, I could outdo all of them. I did videos too big for YouTube. Phone will actually capture a video like that. I got a time to just write it. I can just do one every day. It's a horror. There's a term for, I forget what the term is for the hair for skin. It's called compound skin. Because this skin is the same hair. This is totally different. Same hair. Wiry, twisted motherfuckers. This don't hurt. This is better. Smoke to it. This fucking no, and there's some. The one I just was able to tug on. I got a chill down my spine, and then it slipped right up. Off the tweezers. Yeah, every so often I get like a whole day. Because it's a separate graphics card, all that shit should be.
I just took a flash of booty down before I wrote this, just so I could better exhibit to niggas with copies.
You niggas is miserable and hopeless. I don't fuck with you jokers. You look in my eyes and you can tell that I'm focused. Staying up late night for the smokers. 7 ounces on the chokers. Hypnosis, jacuzzi, water, soap. Lava. Beat you like a pinata. My niggas shooters not the type to put the fire to the cuchara. On the run from La Jara, the mono, la pole, the hueco, the figure, the po, the minute, the one time trying to lock me for dumb crime. Show up at the bar where I unwind. Nigga play their gun, reflecting the sunshine. Mapping to this life that they put the buttercup. Open up a little boutique and they assume it's a cover up. Naturally, half fashionably. Toss a couple drops of water in the work and watch it define gravity. Bougie women call me your majesty. Accurately slap the key in half and bring the pack with me on the Trappers Street sauce. When I used to shit my juniors, niggas would laugh at me. Now they watching sons dancing like Bush Cassidy. I'm on top of the game. Beat a shorty couple dunkers and watch her hop on the plane. Feel the cool breeze that come before the tropical rain. Mixing the soda, drop it in the flame, and then I chop it for change. Unexpected, come on. Don't break your heart. Yeah, niggas is mad, they couldn't make it smart. Couldn't believe a little guppy ate the shark. Unexpected, come on. You break your heart. Niggas is mad, they couldn't make it spark. Couldn't believe it, the little guppy ate the shark. I had to laugh at niggas. I hate to use the N-word. Hope dope for hope, cause I've been broke. We chopping up the coke. Got the block rocking like the rope. The lock, we chopping like it's soap. Feeding on the flow. And if a nigga diss, grab the rope. Jump real high, suicide. Levels how the homies ride. No time for phony lies. Lies be like genocide. A renegade. Lemons to lemonade. Give me my Senate. Drug dealing.
Where's my money, bitch? Give me my medicine.
Renegade is no to its return. Will these fuck boys ever learn? If forever be my turn. Stack chips, never let it burn. Slicker than your wig on a perm. Make it never see the God. Yeah, I break bread with see the God. The fat see me how I feed the squad.
How did it get too full? It's full at the top. The fucking coffee pot. You can't fill it past that. I fill it right to that level because that's exactly how much water it takes. This fucking thing filled it right to that. How the fuck am I supposed to do this? This guy, he's meant to only to feed me. I don't give a fuck. You do not need me, so I do not need you. Except
all I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. You understand?
Exactly what I wanted to say. If you answer or not, tell me exactly the amount of money you use. Just allow me to. You have to make the receipt right now.
I just had a premonition last night. That's when I started reminiscing last night. All your homies stabbed me in my back twice. That's the choice you making. That's the price you fucking pay. Like this, that, do it, donuts in the lot. Don't stop, better red light stop. Walk on the flock, never walk on the cup.
Little tiny store, but you don't need a big store. The things are.
I don't know. Go ham.
You don't get to make money out of a big shop. You still have money at a little shop. Everything is like that. Big shop, the overhead side.
I had a premonition last night.
With no sales, one time
last night. All your homies stabbed me in my back twice. That's the choice you're making. That's the price you fucking pay. Like I just had a premonition last night. That's when I started reminiscing last night. All your homies stabbed me in my back twice. That's the choice you're making. That's the price you fucking pay. Like
Yeah, vous l'êtes au Ginzel. Yeah.
you know who it is. Pull up to the club with a pretty little bitch. She don't come inside though, that's a silent. Just for a couple minutes before I already damn to my crib. I don't know why them girls like me. Everywhere I go, some bitches, man, trying to fight me. Maybe it's the white thing, maybe it's my Nikes, maybe it's my fucking chain, bitch. I stay icy, I stay G'd up, shoes on my feet up. You don't like it, then suck a dick and squeeze nerves. Baby, these nerves, they fuck a lot of bitches. I'm sleeping with your girl, shit, you sleeping with the bitches. When I get up, them bitches, low, I put some fucking flickers. The shit flat up in this bitch, this ain't my phone, the sickest, the quickest. Motherfucker, I'll be better than that. Shorty looking like a freaking gonad. Yeah, shorty, get it up for me. Cause she got damn good to kick it put it down. Yeah, shorty, get it up for me. Cause she got damn good, we look fucking up the same like. Shorty, get it up for me. Cause she got damn good to kick it put it down. Yeah, shorty, get it up for me. Cause she got damn good, we look fucking up the same like. I know you're feeling it, I know you're looking my way because I'm to your shit. And if you really want to, you can see my place. See you up on my knees looking at my fucking face. I know you like that, please keep it hard. When I have you screaming out, oh my god. Oh dear Lord, with the mic so large and I'm always so tough. And I'm never on the bottom, you need to cut the pieces of good. You know, big bags of chronic out weed, crazy colors like a hope. It's only for me to bring it up on it, no doubt about it. Please put your hands up with the L and show it. Get on your sale, email, make a text about it. Get fucked, get
That's all right. It's either 1420 or 1020, and it's giving me notifications. And usually there's like 6 in the morning.
Yeah, shawty, get it up for me. Cause you got damn good, we look fucking up the same like. Shawty, get it up for me. Cause you got damn good, the kick you put down. Yeah, shawty, get it up for me. Cause you got damn good, we look fucking up the same like.
Why is there no button on the remote built in with this box? Drop that down. But it recognizes the mouse like nothing. So obviously there's some type of Apple driver on this Google box. It has to be. Yeah, there's an Apple mouse on a Google box. Look at that. These two different companies have to work together to fix it. I bet if I change that Apple mouse to the Microsoft one, I would have no more problems. I got different problems. Bill Gates is letting me trust that one. Microsoft made their money. I don't know
Concours ange, il est destiné pour le monde, quoi. Le conservé par le fait. Them bullets fly by, them bullets fly by. What you gon' do when them bullets fly by? When bullets fly by, when bullets fly by. What you gon' do when them bullets fly by? What you gon' do when them bullets fly by? What you gon' do when them bullets fly by? What you gon' do when them bullets fly by? What you gon' do when them bullets fly by? Pop, pop when you hear the Glock. Love down, nigga, cause I'm in your spot. Give it up, nigga, you might get shot. I'm the hot shot, so you gonna get shot. Any nigga out here might feel the pop. My 9mm gonna make you drop. I talk about my 9 cause the shit's so hot. When shit goes down, he's ready to pop. He's stressed out, and I'm trigger happy. I gotta beat the life, and it feels so nasty. Believe me, this shit ain't easy. I'm a nigga with attitude, so fuck you. pussy. When bullets fly by, when bullets fly by, what you gonna do when them bullets fly by? When bullets fly by, when bullets fly by, what you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? Lost like a goose or snitch to the cops. Me, I cock back, let
They
it
didn't have
go
plans
for
of
the
putting
power.
something in that top space there, right? So they would have put some of the holes in there.
Set FDLCTE, RIP,
I don't have to drill any holes in it because it's right there.
HOTSHOT, ITSME. Yeah, it's me. I let my bullets fly high. Shooting at you niggas like kites in the sky. Blue beams. I'm killing this rap shit. So what you gonna do when my bullets fly by? When bullets fly by, when bullets fly by, what you gonna do when them bullets fly by? When bullets fly by, when bullets fly by, what you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by?
Every day niggas talking shit like they tough in this motherfucking street, but they not, nigga. When the bullets fly by, them niggas tough like bitches. It's your boy, you know, HOTSHOT. Cold dog, revolution in process records.
One boy.
KSP the zone records.
Default PCM, we did that. Now we gotta talk fucking
when bullets fly by, what you gonna do when them bullets fly by? When bullets fly by, when bullets fly by, what you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by? What you gonna do when them bullets fly by?
Not the PCM. Hold on. What did you just say? Trouble cleared. No, trouble's not cleared. What the fuck? That's the wrong page. What did I want? Solar panels? What the fuck am I looking at? This bullshit.
Ne bak saffen met mijn zak kosten centen maandelijkse toeslagen voor iets dat kan niet betalen kan. Joar, dinero para vloes, man, plata, Babylon brandt in de pan van Satan. België, looks like a dog, so it must be a skyloss. Panama Papers, F-35's, premies van datum, allemaal zegels. Fraudeleuze VZ2's rijden op de voedselbank, doodgevroren daklozen in de grote steden. Meer en meer belastingen dan een landschapenplan. Vastgoedmafia, een winterraadsleden. Veel te veel zaad voor veel te weinig vetzakken. Veel te veel redenen voor veel te weinig protest. Loop ik met de kutten mee, terwijl ik met de graan lopen. Kan niet langer verder zo, alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Je merkt het en niet alles is te duur voor mij. Ik ren niet met de niks voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij.
I don't want to do it. No fun. I need to have some sort of thing. Maybe the wrong fun. I need a solar powered dragon treasure. What the fuck did I do?
Adrenaline door mijn lijf, maak je geld voor de verwarming. Te veel stress door al die rekeningen waar dat ik op achterloop. Niks te verdienen. Binnen in de schimmelwijk, laat België is te duur geworden. Alles wordt verwaarloosd. Corrupte flikken, magistraten, politieke slaginaal. Al de schuld van het monetaire systeem. Gremmel die praktijken, stijgende stroomvoorzieningsprijs. Er valt hier niks te raten zolang je de liter niks niet afneemt. Koepels kunnen propageren, groene plaatsen. Bijna gooien naar de zon, ook klein geld om op de bus te stappen. Homies vliegen in de bak, de waardes gaan husselen. Ogen omhoog, tand om tand, kwaad naar de sukkelen. Fijn dat kuil aan die spitpas, de couleur, kijken door de keyhole. Van de glazen spiegeldeur, slaak mijn eigen ruiten in. Het komt dat we kwaad worden, iedereen rondom mij leidt, want alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij, je merkt het en niet alles is te duur voor mij. Ik ren niet met de niks voor mij, alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Alles is te duur voor mij. Je merkt het en ik ren niet met de motor rond. Alles
alles is te duur voor mij.
Milliamps. It's milliwatts. So that's not what I need. 1300.
Officers, fight on, great defense.
It's 1.3. It's not a lot of power.
A living soul. Oh, yes,
I need somebody to plug into my motorcycle. It's Russian. No, anything will work. I'll have to wire it together myself, though. So whoop. Leaning on a payphone, never going home again. Not if you talk too much, whatever. Everybody knows that we're OGs. Trying to run a tax thing. I don't think so. We're gonna attack the same way.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so woke. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so woke. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so woke. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so woke.
One amp at 9 volts, that would satisfy. Home Depot, for real? I need something small as fuck, Home Depot. What you got? Something I can break into pieces. Just with the one piece. The fucking part, the light hits, then I'll cut it.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so woke. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so woke.
I don't need fucking none of this.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so woke.
Portable will have the 12 volt and you can cut right off. 12 volts now, man. It's 6 volt. I need something to charge or something. 100 watts. Well, if it's small enough, I'll just use 12 volt. It doesn't matter because it won't generate enough power. 24 volt, 12 volt. They look the same. You just made it twice as big. They are the same. Almost. 12 volt. It's huge. 90 watt. 100 volts. Still huge. Flexible. That's interesting, but I don't know. That's still huge. Briefcase design. 20 watt. 12 volt charging.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so woke. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can hit it so woke.
$571 for 20 watts. Hold on. This one's $60 for 50 watts. That's 500, so I can get 10 of these. And just burn them out. I'll hook them together and get 200 watts. But plus 500. 20 watt. 20. This is what? This is not kilowatts or so. What happened? Fuck, it's Cornelius. Solar Energy, Cornelius. Solar Energy. I hope I got the fucking dude's name right. 30 watt. New edition. No. I want to go to 18 watt. That's small enough. 8 amp charge controller. 1.3. That whole fucking thing. And this thing says 14.4 amps. My word. 18 watts is a lot. I would say no, 10 watt. 10 watt. Here we go. Because if it's small enough, it needs to be a higher voltage than the battery to charge the fucking battery. It's 10 watts. I like the sound of that. 39, 59. Oh, it's not 95, it's 59. It's already secret code, but it's on sale. Yeah, I saw this too. The trigger's on for $1.70. $1.97. All the time. They put it on sale, it's $179. Juice ends in 9, the milk ends in 9, the hot dogs in 9. I don't know who the new manager is, but I think the old manager must have left a video. If you're watching this, then I'm not around anymore. I'm going to give you some tips on running this store. If you listen, you must have, because they don't do nothing specific. Yo, at the end of the night, the guys getting on the mic tell you you're at the store are beatboxing and freestyling. That's what it is there. They don't tell them not to, so. I don't want to add it to a cart, I want to see it. 10 watts, this would be perfect. That's what I need. This thing puts out 70 milliamps times 6.
I'm just dealing with my boys and I get hit. So I'm just dealing with my boys and I get hit. So
Can you just tell me? It's got a junction box. Okay. So I don't need a charge controller for something that small. You got a couple of dollar store calculators I can bust apart, man. Series 5 watt. 5 watt. Or something. 5 watt. Oh, dimensions of 10.6 is too big. 13.4 inches is too big by 1 inch. It's only 6 inches wide, bro.
I'm dealing with my boys and I get hit. So
no hotspot needed there. Trust me, this phone is going to get hot. 25 years transferable output warranty. 5 years material bypass diode. Minimize. Thank you. It's a very simple solid state solution. Bypass diode. Minimizes power drop caused by shade. It ensures excellent performance. I don't care about low light environment. Sunshine every day for a while. Okay, featuring IP65. Don't know what that is. Junction box. Connecting this panel to a charge controller or additional panels. It's easy. 1, 2, 3, 3. A little small. This panel can withstand heavy wind and snow loads. Doesn't have to because the payphone will take it. Use this solar panel to power your electronics, whatever. There's some, okay, that's fine.
let my trunk bang program to bring you earth. Let the trunk bang like a bus hang. Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling. Ain't in the dope game, but a rap slang. It is like cocaine when I drop planes. Let the trunk bang like a bus hang.
What do you want to bet the voltage is 9 volts, 7.2 or 6?
Ain't in the dope game, but a rap slang. It is like cocaine when I drop planes. Something that you can cook homemade. Got bars on me like my phone got paid. Drinking and driving, serving all different ways. My mind stays stuck in the same ass maze. Maybe I should write this, or maybe I should write that. No, I don't like this.
Short circuit with 5 watts and all
that. Feel the shit more than these hi-hats. When it kills the shit, I don't want to hear my rhymes whack. I don't beat around the bush, I beat around the block. I ain't even on your pussy sucking on the cock. All I need is a push to make it to the top.
On the camera.
Dreams are far-fetched, but I'ma go catch it. You ain't seen bars yet, this is just a message.
Yeah,
bringing out hard shit,
that's gotta be
packing some more things in case I put trunk bang like a bus hangs.
Security system's run on 6-volt battery. I can get a security system battery. I need panel to charge. I know what I'm talking about. Shit.
Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling. Ain't in the dope game, but a rap slang. It is like cocaine when I drop planes. In my golden place. These words are shots they can take with no chase. Life is
without me is like a song without bass. Done killed the beat, now
I'm not gonna make it even smaller than the camera.
my mode is just of my personality. Got my
No more troubleshooting
from a
wires.
reality. Mortal
That's
combat,
just
turning
swapping
rappers to fatality.
batteries.
You can tell me shit unless it's coming with a salary. And I swear to be no worker. Started paying attention to the risk observers. Elected truth, stirring what relied on murder. Thought I couldn't cross a line that took a step further. I'd rather be respected and have everyone in fear. I have the door
Connecting to a security camera.
You can call my shit mystical.
This solar panel charges.
My time on past like years. Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling. Ain't in the dope game, but I rap slang. Addicted like cocaine when I drop flames. Let the trunk bang like I bust bangs. Let my nuts hang while I'm hustling. Ain't in the dope game, but I rap slang. Addicted like cocaine when I drop flames. Perfect.
1 amp. Okay, 1 amp. I can figure this
out. Yeah, we real for the street niggas, man. The voice of the streets, the black top. Here, the niggas that be on the show, you on the turf out here, boy. You know what I mean? Hey,
you kidding me?
We got that military.
Exactly
shit,
1 amp.
Bullets by the ton. I like you don't know.
Too big for too long.
I doubt you want some hot lab.
Good, it's not too hard. Guaranteed you don't have what I need. I still got the skills, so I'm good. One question, 0 answers. You got one for the gate opener. Hey, 10 watts. Is that 10 volts, 1 amp? Or is that 5? It's 10 volts, I
Look me in my eyes, you can tell that I'm a ride. When it comes down to it, nigga, I'ma get all out the side. You can be
there's no little pulse in them.
like for keys where I'm from, I don't give a fuck. And I played around with that bitch shit. I'm fucking out real rounds and empty out real quick. We got a ride for the ride off time. So when the war crack off, you know, rise on front line, nigga, and I'm out. And ain't too got to trust. So many niggas out here with a stitch and bitch up on me. Wait a minute, that shit ain't gangsta. Me, man, you tell them niggas I think they pussy. Let they nut man got grown ass men with they nuts on top. But gonna be a victim. Got grown ass men with they nuts on top.
If the control board of the gate opener system does not have DC, it does, or solar terminals, you may need a charge controller to connect the solar panel charger. That would be something that I can wire directly to an old school lead-acid battery. The sun might occasionally shine on it. 156 and 18 volts. I give up.
On the ground and blood missing crack. I don't feel no butterflies. I'm a cheap good time like the mafia guys. Break the culture, mother dies. Make them dust fly into family members cry. If you talking guns and ammo, I keep a supply. Just wanna talk slick if you ready to die. I still react quick even though I'm hella high. I ain't let you through another villain. Need water sometimes. Do the right thing for your sake. Yeah, don't mind. I got me one. This nigga read.
Oh. No, it's just warm. That's the drug. This ain't nothing. This cleaned out my lungs. This prevents viruses from getting into the blood cells. They've proven that. This causes your brain to synthesize new neurons, or whatever the word is. So I'm not used to seeing the name for players that keep end up fucking cover because of this. Oh, I can go window and see how that the sunlight. Right. You see that picture?
Go on my state, bitches like you, elevated like the crowd break. It's all I hate. If you put it together, do better than the devil. You gotta get a separate fake when I rip off my shit. People that just hear me, get they go back. Well, you get fucking up bungee and that. And then you get clapped, the crack. And then you don't know what the fuck happened. You're just like flat. You don't even see past my identity. Which be the D-E-R-E, L-I-C-T, M-C-O, the Avenue E. Fuck on the beach, they hating on me. Because I am better than fucking competitor. I say whatever, you bitches can lay the fuck down. My crew is tough, just like some others.
Times is hard, no doubt, different ways to struggle. No stranger to the wacky, the failure to raise a hustle. What's what? About $20 for a day's work. I can look, I turn my white tears to a great shirt. Ain't no punk on me, they fake. College workers wait. Thing I hate the local shit. Connect no stranger to the straight game. Cheeks taste like cigarettes. Put the butts on the ground and I'll round. Used to filter in no sleep devil. Yeah, cracker, that's only dead time. Personified a subway train. I'm the red line from Hollywood to Hershey. Puts up, heads down, calling them a cursing. Call it a perversion. If I only knew a camera crew to follow me in person. No A&E, you wanna see, pay the fee. Get a jar, kids say to me so angrily. I got one, you idiot. I work double shifts, y'all don't see the pain. And that's where the trouble is. Imagining that generation or X stab in the back. Dirty needles, good kids, hurting people. Mom didn't raise me like this. Wipe the hate from my lips. Blood and H in the mix, drip all the way to my wrist. Yeah, I know what an atheist is. I live forever as a blood stain. My name will exist in this bathroom stall. How I last you all, push the plunger, catch tags and blast the wall. Need a tunnel I can go from here, open clear. I see through the smoke and mirrors. I live harder on purpose to provoke my peers. My life is overrated, man. I've been a joke for years. It's overrated, man. I've been a joke for years. And I don't need to tell you how the times is hard. Hey, you don't need to tell me that I've been scarred. I'm not a fraud.
What just happened now? Why the music silent? Do nothing to stop the music. I barely get this shit.
My feet will shine these stars. One hit, one fist, one more dime. A car spiking my wrist. Crucify me, climb the guy. Hey yo, good times, bad times. Hollywood sign, hat line, simple to the dawn. To your flat line, I stick a dick with the chrome with a black nine skin roll, no place to call a home. If you lack spine, if you a bit, yeah, you can roll, yeah, that's fine. See these who forgot their PD rules. I read graffiti like news while I PT cruise. Lit the fuse, hit the pipe early like hitting snooze. I lit the fuse, hit the pipe early like hitting snooze. I never wanna wake up perpetual insomnia. In retrospect, I guess it sounds better when I'm on the track. Need a storm man, I'm the drug war, I'm in that white room, walls of black. I do all of that. Call me back, let me know though, just the no-dos. Running from imaginary people, no logos. Rip the photos, hot boys, your sister photos. Mr. Monkey, water next with Coco. Trip confused, he ditched the logo. The gray and sunny shit, $60 here in the soul. Too quick, that's the money quick. Said come with this, yo, when's this guy leaving? I bounced from the telly quick, now I'm dry heaving. Still got the cash though, delivers my game. Black gold, deliver my pain. My aim, don't remember my name. Yeah, the city is straight. Cast for all of the stones, cinders remain carved in all of the thrones. Oh, judgment can't trust my, so I can catch a bus ride. 22-story swan time, but too much pride standing there on Julian. Family reunion, vanity had ruined the grand.
Oh, come on. I'm trying to fix this memory problem right now. And
no more pain, hurt, feel the soul, cast the dice, burn both ends. I gotta light this candle. I learned from old friends that my life's a gamble. Yeah, cause my life's a, and I don't need to tell y'all the times is hard. And you don't need to tell me that I've been scarred. I'm not a fraud. Let me believe